Overwatch Apex Season 3, energized by Hot 6, third place match. Today's matchup, Afreeca Freecs Blue, EnVyUs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Overwatch Apex Season 3. I am Achilleos. Joining me here at the desk is Wolf. And it is the final regular season match before the grand final, third, fourth place match here between Afreeca Freecs Blue and EnVyUs. Both of these teams falling short of the grand final, both of them suffering 0-4 losses.
That's right, in the third place match like this one, you're looking for pride. There's some extra prize money on the line, but it does feel, Achilleos, like this is going to be a grudge match, the revenge match from Apex Season 1's grand finals. Speaking of 0-4s, Afreeca Freecs Blue did get 4-0'd by EnVyUs in that finals. It was the kind of debut of Mickey showing his dominance on D.Va. Afreeca Freecs Blue couldn't play D.Va back then, but this is a totally different storyline 2 seasons later in the third, fourth.
Yeah, just kind of catching back up here. You never know. Could be another 4-0 for EnVyUs.
Be.
Would be a one hell of a way to go out of Korea, you'd have to say. Get prepped for the Overwatch League. These guys finally getting some rest, getting to go back home, to their home countries as well, you'd imagine, for the likes of basically everybody, since they're all from all over the world. But, not a lot of pressure on the line here, third, fourth place. Like you said, looking for a little bit of extra fight money. Yeah. But this is mostly going to be a pride match. Maybe a bit of a grudge one for the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue, as you already mentioned, wanting revenge for that Season 1 fail. But, yeah, this isn't going to be one of those high-intense moments, so maybe we get to see some flashier plays, some picks coming out. We didn't see the McCree from Taimu at all during their series.
Hoping to see some of that.
Panthera, so maybe we get to see some of that. Maybe we'll get to see something, a little bit outside of the meta. Some fun picks come through. Hanzo, which makes it in there every now and then, perhaps. I don't really know what's
I'm hoping that we do, and I think that in a match like this, even though it is very much important, it does give a lot of money and pride, etc. It feels like an exhibition match in a way. So we'll see how many picks come out, for example. It's still going to be a regular best-of-7 format with the repeated Assault and Escort, and then the hybrid map coming in there at the end. Of course, when it repeats, only the one control map to start things off. So your standard best-of-7.
Yeah, everything going to be remaining the same from what you guys have already seen moving into the playoffs. So no change-ups coming through, no special rule sets for that third, fourth place match. But like you said, I kind of like the way that you phrased that, almost like an exhibition match between these two guys. Just kind of playing for that higher standing, that pride to say, you know what, we went back to Apex another time. And, this is how far we made it this time around. Didn't make the grand final, but we at least made it to those, third, fourth place spots. And then carry on from there. You can take that, whether it's into Apex Season 4 for Afreeca Freecs Blue or into the Overwatch League for EnVyUs and, whatever smattering of other tournaments there may be in between now and then. So just, just bragging rights mostly.
That's right.
But even despite the fact that, not a high-stakes match, still have a very packed audience here today in Seoul. Despite the very stormy weather outside, these guys braved their way through it. Oh,
and the mono dance. That's the mono dance right there.
They're just popping off, and they just like we're not afraid to dance, but good God, don't look at our faces.
Saying wants to eat that samgyeopsal, the pork belly. Maybe that's the destiny of EnVyUs if they could take the win tonight. Of course, EnVyUs, I love you, and I'll have to translate that one for you guys here. And Crayon Shinchan drawing here, parody of EnVyUs, an effect fan here. That's called Janggu in Korea, that character. And a Sodium Caster fan here, calling her a goddess there, it says. She's the main caster on the side on Tuesdays with us a lot of the time, but on Friday, she's the one that casts with us on Friday. I normally cast with Caster John on Tuesdays, got those mixed up there, but yeah, one of the MCs. Yeah, I usually don't end up casting on Fridays here at Apex, but today is an exception. It's third, fourth. I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, we stole you away from Heroes of the Storm, brought you over here to the main stage for today. So, kind of playing hooky on your MOBA responsibilities.
I didn't bring any Heroes characters into Overwatch, sadly. It's Doomfist who's going to be our newest hero.
That's true. We did have, Doomfist being announced just very recently, just yesterday, this morning rather, for us, I suppose.
Well, this is one of the first heroes.
I forget what time it is.
It was early, but it was
very early.
It was one of those heroes that came out where first impressions were not, I'm not sure if this hero is going to be strong. We saw Orisa and Sombra, people were doubters, but this is the first one that's come out in a while. It's like, ooh, this hero seems really strong.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that are watching the stream right now are also watching Seagull play it. Almost 50,000 views. But in the meantime, we'll talk about Doomfist later. We got time for that one later on. Let's go ahead and get some words from the players.
좀 더 고군분투하는 모습을 보여드리고 싶었는데 너무 이렇게 쉽게 스코어를 내준 것 같아서 되게 마음 아프고 아쉽네요.
그냥 많이 아쉽고 15연승을 계속 했는데 그 점 때문에 조금 자만한 것도 없지 않아 있는 것 같아요.
1등 아니면 죽음이다 이런 생각으로 다 우승을 원하기 때문에 마음이 아픈 채로 어거지로 하는 3, 4위전이죠 솔직히. 아프리카 프릭스 굉장히 강해진 팀이라고 생각하고 있었는데 0대4로 진 걸 보면은 내 판단이 좀 틀린 건가 싶기도 하고 하지만 저희도 일단 0대4를 당했잖아요. 이름만 다른 형제 팀이죠.
같은 4강이어도 사람들이 4위까지는 기억을 잘 못할 것 같아요. 꼭 3위 얻어내고 와야겠습니다. 쉽게 결승 갈 거라고 생각했다면 큰 오산입니다. 4강에서 꼭 4위 하시면 될 것 같아요.
너무하신 거 아닌가 같은 입장에서. 그 1시즌 때 엔비어스가 이제 아프리카 프릭스 상대로 결승전에서 4대0으로 이겼잖아요.
이것이 엔비어스죠. 4대0!
그때 엔비어스한테는 좀 약한 상대였던 것 같아요. 이제는 진짜 제대로 된 적수가 돼서 왔다고 느껴집니다. 절대로 방심하고 느긋하게 하면 안 되겠죠.
저희가 그리던 시나리오는 원래 엔비어스가 결승 올라오고 나베도 결승 올라오면서 똑같이 4대0을 해주는 거였는데 결승 무대는 아니지만 복수하겠습니다.
이번 시즌 마지막 경기인데요. 한국에서 마지막 경기이기도 합니다. 저는 지금 부족했던 것들을 최대한 보완해서 최고의 모습을 보여줘야겠죠.
저번 경기와는 더 다른 모습 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같아요. 저희 만호 선수가 국대잖아요. 국대 자리에 어울릴 수 있는 사람이 되도록 저희 팀들이 꼭 도와주도록 하겠습니다.
Afreeca Freecs Blue. IDK.
와, 오랜만에 보는 전략이죠. 상대방 힐러를 잡아주고 알기 때문에 빨리 내쫓아버리지 않는 거예요.
Arhan.
집중력이라든지 소수규모로 남았을 때 그 포커싱 집중력까지 확실히 앞서고 있습니다. 블루. 자리에 오를 것이 없어요.
Mono.
발동됐죠. 막아줄 수 있는 게 아무것도 없어요. 10번으로 유카이 선수 진짜 주먹안에서 공격력이 엄청나죠.
Recry.
역사는 집으로 없어요. 그리고 루시드의 수면총은 오늘도 날카롭다. 이 합법은
Lucid. Donghyun. Afreeca Freecs Blue.
Well, there you go. Afreeca Freecs Blue being reintroduced. And yeah, Mono having to earn that spot for Team Korea. Something that we might not have questioned before their match versus Lunatic-Hai, but then after he trash-talked against Miro saying that I'm the better Winston, and then he got absolutely smacked around by him, I think he does kind of have to re-earn that spot in our eyes.
I would say so. Seems to be the big fan favorite today in terms of signs that we're seeing there, the cheerfuls coming out. But, you know, this team had a smashing run through this tournament until they met their end against Lunatic-Hai. Still a team to be respected, and most would argue again had the harder run than EnVyUs, but still came in very dominant. And a big part of this run was Donghyun, who saw in the highlights there, all the self-destructs he was able to pull off. His protection of the DPS is something that, again, we saw struggles for EnVyUs in their last match in the semis. It was against Void back then, but we'll see if they've improved their anti-diva play in the short period of time between these matches.
Likely going to be one of the biggest things that they were practicing up for, but it's like you heard from you know, Donghyun there in the interview. This is very much a grudge match for Afreeca Freecs Blue. They are taking this extremely seriously, and they want that revenge for Zero. Before we see if they get that, let's go ahead and reintroduce the players from EnVyUs.
Chips high-end. Coco. Effect. Harry Hook. Mickey. Taimu. EnVyUs.
There you go. The roster for EnVyUs for the final time in Korea for Apex Season 3. You never know what's going to happen in the future, but for now, seems like we will be saying goodbye to these guys after today for a decent while, you'd have to think, Wolf.
That's right. And remember, EnVyUs, of course, was the team that was favored by many going into the match against Panthera. They got crushed there, but all smiles, it looks like, at least today in the booth. Mickey and Taimu.
He's forcing one on there.
Yeah, the dastardly duo. Oh no, the forced frown. Bible thump, but
that's the only time I've ever seen Mickey frown, and it wasn't even real.
It wasn't real. But definitely looking to be in good spirits compared to what we saw, especially at the end of that series.
That's
on
just scary,
Tuesday.
Coco.
Coco's got a little bit of serial killer going on with that one, but
he's looking to just massacre Afreeca Freecs Blue. That's what it is. He's getting in the mindset. Just
well,
go on a rampage.
With the dive comps they've been running, with the Winston wraps, you will, with effect, be able to finally get those kills as they struggled in that Tuesday match. But it's good to see high hopes for EnVyUs going into this best of 7. Smiles on their faces, and spirits seem to be good for the team. An otherwise very sad story for them in that Tuesday match against Panthera. We're starting things off on Lijiang Tower here. When they faced off in the grand finals, the control map was Nepal. We start off, so a different start to this best of 7. Can Afreeca Freecs Blue take a map in this best of 7? Or are they destined to be the 0-4s? It starts here.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Is them winning a single map at a best of 7 is a step forward for Afreeca Freecs Blue. As unfortunate as that does sound, but even that will be pushing them in the right direction. We'll see if they can get it. Lijiang Tower, not really been played by these teams in their last best of 7s, was the tiebreaker when that Hanamura went 3-3 for Afreeca Blue versus Lunatic-Hai. But outside of that, it's not in their last couple matches. So we'll see how they're going to perform here today.
That's going to be the big question as we head into this one. Hoping to see a lot more of that Taimu McCree. I feel like that, what we saw at the end of the round of 8 groups, was much stronger than what we saw out of his Soldier, especially with dealing with Void there on Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's go ahead, not waste any more time, and dive into our first map of this match here. 3rd, 4th place, Afreeca Freecs Blue versus EnVyUs. We're headed to Lijiang Tower. Well, we got it, but we also got to pause.
Yep, and don't worry, he's got it. At least that's what he said when he ran into the booth to fix the technical monitor issue.
He's saying, I'm on it.
Oh.
So, monitor issue, as you can see.
He's like, did you press the power button?
He's saying, well, we're going to, first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and turn it off and turn it back on again.
All right.
And, woo, look at that, it worked.
And Mickey with an applause here as the monitor seems to be fixed. Don't worry, we were all just in the game lobby setting up for picks, so...
I wish he was my tech support for pretty much any internet service provider back in America. Because if they could just fix my issues like that, it'd be amazing.
Well, I mean, not only being able to hopefully fix your issues, but the amount of time required to get them to your house, man.
That too.
And for what? Like 20 down back in the day when I lived in the States?
Oh, 20 down. I thought you were talking about like 20 down, like you have to pay them to go out there. I was like, it's way more than $20.
Yeah.
You know, they jiggle a wire for a second, and say, no, that'll be $100.
Did you reset the router? Oh, come on.
We'll bill that to you on your next month's next month's payment.
Well, oh, got the basketball stack. I don't know if this is going to be a shot in the basket itself. Looks like he's going to give up on it, sadly.
That would be a very impressive basket to make.
Yeah, especially considering that it was underneath the plate there.
Yeah, that would be a PogChamp one for sure.
Well, look at this, Achilles. Already we've got Taimu on the McCree, so this is what I wanted to see personally. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't see it there on the match against Panthera, but already starting things off here.
All right, well, I could die happy now. Time is starting off here on the McCree, as you saying. EnVyUs going to be opening things up with that first pick as Arhan does go down. Retry, forced to use the recall, getting zapped to death, dashes back. Keeps himself alive for the moment. Point getting ready to unlock here in 5 seconds. Arhan should be able to rejoin him with the rest of the squad to contest this, but for now, EnVy will have the fast track inside.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the first cap going over them. Afreeca Freecs may dive in, though. They have Arhan here. They are going to try to contest from the other side. Unfortunately, too good coverage here for EnVyUs. Taimu blasts already Donghyun out of the bag. Gets the headshot there on the pilot as well.
Yeah, just goes ahead and takes down the baby D.Va. So nicely done. And already, I mean, Taimu being focused by the D.Va, much like we saw in his series versus Kongdoo Panthera, but this time comes up with the victory on his side. Lucid is popping that Transcendence, trying to delay, but seems like a matter of time. There we go, one more headshot. Taimu takes him out. Cap still has not come through, but with IDK going down, it's going to very much limit their options. No supports available here for Afreeca Freecs, so they will go ahead and peel back.
They had the better position to start with. Taimu bursting down Donghyun's mech meant that they were going to have a massive advantage of the fight no matter what, but this guy just does not miss on the McCree. We've seen him be the counter to Tracer on this. The flashbang somebody's just getting headshots vanilla. And when you talk about the meta and how McCree isn't used as much as Soldier, which is probably why he wasn't playing against Panthera, sometimes what's more comfortable is the better pick. In this case today, so far, the McCree has been looking good.
Alright, you can hear that Deadeye being popped off screen. Gets the flashbang down, misses the headshot. A rare miss there from Taimu. Doesn't quite take out Recry, but forces him off on the recall, but he does lose out on that Deadeye. Can't find any picks with it. Meantime, sound barrier on both sides. Recry looking out where he can. Has the pulse bomb ready to go, but hasn't tossed it yet. In the meantime, Arhan has to deflect up, but he'll still go ahead and get stunned up, gets taken down. As Harry Hook finds the kill. Point still ticking up here for the side of EnVyUs, 44%. Most of the Afreeca Freecs Blue are dead as Mono will get taken out mid-air. Taimu yet again, just sniping another one down. And this is looking like smooth sailing here for EnVyUs so far.
Yeah, they're going to be able to build up another ult advantage with this. Harry Hook's sound barrier was really good there, and even though we saw the rare miss, the caster curse on Taimu's headshot there, the sustain coming out from EnVyUs much better. Yeah, it looks like we might even see a pick here on the Lucid. Nice pick here by Mickey and Coco together there. They're going to get IDK, that's both supports down, and that means no more healing. At worst case for EnVyUs, this buys them so much more time to build up the big six.
Well, they finally pop Mickey out of the mech, but he throws down that self-destruct just to try to zone him back. Finds Donghyun, but actually it's just going to be an exchange of D.Vas on the self-destructs, both of them going down, neither making it around the corner. So, you know, twinsies, I guess. You know, they die together. They live together, they die together. They both fall, but Afreeca Blue still just very much struggling to even try to get a single take on this point.
The 04 D.Va brothers both going down here. Taimu holding on to this Deadeye. We are ticking up onto overtime here. The Primal Rage used. Arhan's about to have that Dragon Blade. Will have Transcendence used already, though. We're watching Taimu for some reason. About to see that Primal Rage get some value here as EnVyUs is just going to concede the point, look for a retake with 99%. They have the ult advantage.
Yeah, they have plenty of time to build these up. I mean, nearly have both support ultimates that can buy them so much time. Lucid using the Transcendence is going to be so very far away. So, plenty of room to work with here for the side of EnVyUs.
Here's the Deadeye.
It's popped out. Defense Matrix was popped. Not going to find a kill. There's on the flashbang, but will be blocked out by that barrier. And he's just going to get cut down. Dragon Blade finally comes through as Arhan picks up two, gets a third. Gets rid of both supporting members of EnVyUs single-handedly. And they will prevent that cap from coming through, at least for the moment. Respawns are coming up, but yeah, with those final picks, the meter will just go ahead and start dropping down, but they're still just a third of the way there.
Yeah,
it's a long and arduous road ahead for Afreeca.
It's going to be a long road here, but Taimu pairing that Deadeye with Coco diving in with Mickey meant that there wasn't any protection for the squishies. Arhan found the window there, killed the supports, and that was the end of that fight. So a lot of ults used on the side of EnVyUs as we reach 50% here.
That's going to be the sound barrier coming down here from Afreeca Blue. Pulse bomb out, not going to find a pick here for effect. Dashes through sound barrier out now from Harry Hook to help keep him alive. Nearly had fallen, and the Transcendence is going to come down immediately after, but Effect can't make it inside. Arhan takes him out before he can do so. Taimu dead as well, so no DPS for Envy as they try to get this retake. 66%, so 2/3 of the way there are Afreeca Blue. They're looking to hold on to this one, might even be looking for their own overtime that EnVyUs will have to try to fight through. They're shoving them right back to the spawn.
They use both support ultimates. They're only going to have the self-destruct and the Deadeye here. Maybe a pulse bomb if this goes longer. No Primal Rage, that's going to be the big problem. The support ultimates as well for the extra sustain for that longer fight. Transcendence and Dragon Blade available. IDK should be able to have the sound barrier here and Primal Rage. Afreeca Freecs Blue definitely has the better tools to hold this. And here comes that Dragon Blade.
Yep, going ahead looking for Harry Hook. Both chips and he have gone down. Self-destruct thrown out here by Mickey, but he gets cut down as soon as he leaves it. So no Baby Diva there available to even try to contest this one. And honestly, Afreeca Blue might have just pulled this one off.
Looks like it.
Kill delayed being completed. Harry not going to be able to make it back in time, and Night Market will go over to Afreeca.
Afreeca able to take the good fight there, forcing Mickey not to use the self-destruct there for a contest, but use it to remech. He was immediately killed by Arhan while outside of the mech. Arhan, in a split second, able to realize this, get the kill, and get to safety there. The mech does nothing. They don't have the support ultimates. They used them earlier, and it feels like the start was strong for EnVyUs, but the longer the fights went on, Taimu and Coco looked to be conjoined and getting targets, looking for picks at distance, but the rest of the team, the squishies, the supports, never had any peel because Coco was so far away. And that's why we saw so many support deaths on the side of EnVyUs there towards the end of the round.
All right, well, all hope is not lost. Taimu's still got that smile on his face.
He does.
Still piloting that McCree. I mean, can't be expecting a pharmacy comp here on guard in a very popular spot, but Afreeca Blue have not run that at all this season. So should know that he's going to be getting the same exact composition with that Genji and Tracer on DPS. And already Mono, he's just going to get taken out. Mickey just boots right into him.
That's going to be a nice first blood, if you will, going into this one. You see Effect is actually getting a lot of space to work with here, helping with Taimu to get that pick onto Arhan.
Flashbang comes down, finds the headshot. Arhan does fall. They have him shoved all the way back towards the spawn. Popped Donghyun out of the mech just to buy a little bit of extra time so he can jump off or go swap out in the spawn if he needs to, and actually that is exactly what he did. So whatever little meter he had built up towards that ultimate will be losing it. Swap to the Roadhog back to the Diva.
And we're going to see this big dive in actually from Mono, trying to prove his worth here. Looking for the supports yet again. It's going to be Chips who goes down, but they traded for Lucid. No peel there.
Yeah, but Harry has also fallen, so that's both supports. He has to get himself back out of there, back to the health pack to keep himself topped off. And we still do have control over the point for the moment, but getting rid of Mickey, getting rid of one of those big delay tools. We can hear that Deadeye pop somewhere. Everybody ducking around the corners, but Taimu still finds Recry, pokes his head out a second too soon, and he's going to go down.
You can tell the targeting here for Afreeca Freecs Blue is definitely on the supports. That's been their goal this entire game. Just looking for the supports, knocking them out, then focusing the tanks later. Something that didn't work against Lunatic-Hai.
Now they're looking for the cap. You still haven't gotten it. They popped the sound barrier, but everybody from Envy was able to successfully kite back. Mickey's still on the point, keeping things contested by the look of it. Now just trying to take out IDK. A couple more shots would have had it. Instead, going to lose the mech. Pops out that self-destruct yet again. Won't be contesting the payload with this. Look, it's the remech to help out in that regard. Transcendence thrown down here by Lucid, but Recry dies right after it drops, and Chips uses his own, just keeping everybody from Envy topped up. They're looking for that overtime yet again, if not just a flat 100% win. Sound barrier comes down just a second too late to keep Taimu in the fight, so he does die. Donghyun finds that kill, but he's going to lose his own mech now. Self-destruct as everyone ducks around the corner. Seems like they might be able to get this retake. Perhaps. I say that as the pulse bomb comes through, Effect knocking him out of that mech yet again, and there's just really nowhere for the Baby Diva to go. Recall will save his life as he nearly falls off the map, and Envy will in fact hold strong. Looked like they might have had it for a second.
Yeah, they had to use a lot to do this, but so did Afreeca Freecs Blue. And I think the idea for EnVyUs was to stagger the ult usage so that by the end of the fight, they'd win the overtime and win it here. Could end up biting them in the rear if this next push actually is successful for the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue.
They're pushing forward, have sound barrier, but it's only down onto the support, so Mono will get taken out. Another Deadeye there from Taimu. Not quite going to find a kill, but helps chip them down, and there's nobody on the point. So a bit of a C9 moment there, you'd have to say, for Afreeca Freecs Blue, and EnVyUs will tie it up 1-1, which means that we are going to be moving over to Control Center.
Well, you know, a term that Papa Smithy actually added to Overwatch, the front-to-back team fighting, that is what we saw used by Lunatic-Hai to dismantle this team. Afreeca Freecs, who's very much focused on diving the back line, not trying to burst the tank, but try to burst the squishies. That's why they're still running the Genji, even though he's very much fallen out of popularity for the top teams in Korea. I know we're still in top 4, but we're not seeing him as often right now. And it feels like this could be both a strength and a liability for Afreeca Freecs Blue. And I feel like if Coco can play a little bit more defensive here on the Winston instead of also diving himself, EnVyUs is going to have much better protection for the supports. They win it with better ult usage there in that last fight to keep that point, but like that's the weakness, definitely the support play on EnVyUs, the protection of the supports.
Yeah, well, already yet again, opening frag comes through here for Envy as Taimu finds the kill onto Recry, dashing into the back is Effect, looking for that enemy Zenyatta. Can't quite find it, even with the Discord Orb thrown down on top of him. But Envy do have that forward posture in onto the point. Could be looking for that first caps yet again. Third time in a row. Coco finding Lucid. Arhan drops as he swapped over to the Sombra, not operating on that Genji anymore. Once those EMPs that easily take out chips. Nearly has one already, but could have had it available if he had not gone down.
Well, 3 for 3 EnVyUs with the first point control, which obviously always will give you a massive lead on control because of the ability to hold on to the ticks, build up an ult advantage. Arhan nearly with that EMP here. We'll see what angle he wants to take. EnVyUs is already playing defensively back, not bunched up here, trying to minimize the effects of the EMP. He's finding the squishies at the back again. This is the idea here once more.
Arhan dropping in the back, drops the EMP, immediately has to translocate out, but Chip still falls. Mono leaping forward is able to take him out, but Effect comes up with the 2K pulse bomb to get IDK, then follows up onto the enemy Tracer. In the meantime, Mono going down yet again, and EnVyUs just cleaning up house, just wiping Afreeca Freecs Blue off the face of the map, and they will maintain control.
This is just EnVyUs very much playing around the EMP, being very prepared for that dive in, and when it came down and everyone tried to focus the supports, that's when Effect got those kills. See Chips helping to get the pick onto Recry here, and the ticks just keep coming. Almost about to be 6 ultimates on the side of EnVyUs.
I mean, he just swapped over to that soldier, and this is going to delay attack visor coming through for a significant amount of time. Just 9% was all that he accrued before going down. So now has to try to rapidly build up for this contest. Nearly 2/3 of the way now are Envy, and they have plenty of ultimates. Primal Rage, double support to try to just hold on to this.
Basically take a miracle here for Afreeca Freecs Blue. Taimu's already got the high ground here with the Deadeye. Transcends is up. Big deny here, but he's going to lose his mech for it. And Donghyun actually saves his mech for the remech, but the self-destruct isn't going to find value, but it looks like the fight is already won here on the low ground. EnVyUs holding on to the majority of their ultimates, just going to let this one go.
Well, that's going to be the sound barrier thrown down. They really do want to hold on to this Transcendence to match from Chips, just stacking them on top of each other. Coco still does have that Primal Rage. For the time being, are holding on, and Effect rejoins the fight. Nearly has a pulse bomb ready, and that could change the flow of all of this. As I say, that Lucid does go down. Just spamming away into that corridor helps get rid of the enemy Zenyatta.
Effect not found there while hacked, so still will hold on to the pulse bomb. Wants to use it against Recry here.
Out right on the wall, not going to find it. The translocation away from Arhan does keep himself safe. You can see Afreeca Freecs Blue still posturing for it, trying to get this cap in, but
some indecision.
Maintain this cap, I should say. They did get it.
Yeah, some indecision for EnVyUs. They used a lot of ultimates there when they were looked to be holding on and backing off. So the regrouped attack to try to hold it and get the 100% was really disorganized. And Afreeca Freecs Blue just had the better exchange there. The support ultimate's wasted by EnVyUs again.
Effect and Mickey both going down at the start of this one. Attack visor popped out by Recry, just cutting down everybody in front of him. So Envy going to be suffering a near team wipe. Chips to fall right at the end of that nice stagger, and Harry Hook likely not to make it out of here alive. Tries to hug the wall to keep himself safe, but actually will stay alive as Coco does rejoin in. But now they have to fight their way out of the spawn.
Yeah, EnVyUs had all the tools to do a big 6 ult push, and because they used so many, now they only have Chips for the Transcendence, and even though there's still a decent amount of time left on the clock, they could have had probably 2 sets of big ult pushes had they been more patient, and Arhan could ruin their first one right now. Here he goes.
And drops it in right off the bat. Mickey going low, but the Transcendence is there from Chips. Wasn't clipped by that EMP, so he's able to get the ultimate off to keep everybody topped up. Sound barrier comes through immediately as the Transcendence ends. Lucid pops his own, but that will drop, and now he's vulnerable, so he has to kite back around the corner as Envy seeks to get in onto the point. Pulse bomb coming through, not going to find anything. Sound barrier out of here from Afreeca Blue to keep everybody alive. Taimu yet again with another Deadeye. first spot, but Duncan
Denied.
goes for it yet again, has that defense matrix there, and Coco has fallen.
Not only does he deny that, but protects Recry while he's using his attack visor there. Gets a lot of damage done. EnVyUs needs to buy some more time here. They're about to have a bunch of ults available, but I don't know if it's going to matter. Mickey needs to use that self-destruct. Here comes the EMP.
For yet again, he will drop it in. Looks like he found about 4 members. Lucid goes down, so they do exchange on the Zenyatas as the rest of the teams keep piling in here, try to stay alive. Harry Hook goes dangerously low, zips his way around the corner as the self-destruct does come through. Not going to find a pick with that one, but he does go down off screen as Arhan hounds him down with that Sombra. Now it's all in effect, throwing out the pulse bomb. Not going to find a pick. Primal Rage out here from Coco. He's able to smack the Sombra to death.
Yeah, Chip switching
all in
Sombra.
for Envy to try to get this retake.
Trying to buy time. They just don't have anything. Harry's trying to build up to that sound barrier. Maybe that's their only hope here. Mickey going to get DMAC though. This may be the end.
Yeah, he gets popped up. Everybody going to go down, and that overtime meter drops very quickly.
And Afreeca Freecs Blue take their first win and a best of 7.
Congratulations. Hopefully it's not the only one that they get, but it's a start, like I said, a step in the right direction here for Afreeca Blue. So finally do get that first map win in a playoff match.
I feel like this
keep that ball rolling.
This shows kind of somewhat of a weakness of EnVyUs to hold on to their resource advantage when you get the first capture. You hold on to the cap late. They were really pushing 90% there on the cusp of having all 6 ultimates. Decided to regroup even after losing 2 members to try to buy time for them to respawn to take the win, instead of just allowing the faster cap there for Afreeca Freecs Blue. And it looked like they were going to do it, and then they changed their minds. They came in, used half their ultimates, and were behind in ults for the rest of the game as a result, and Afreeca Freecs just ended up closing it out, even though the massive advantages were there for EnVyUs. So something to consider going forward, but that's going to be our only control map of this best of 7.
I mean, I understand what Envy was trying to do, but Taimu in particular there, especially on Control Center, using the McCree, trying to hug back around Harry Hook and Chips, so that as soon as he saw the Sombra come out, could use the flashbang, try to prevent the EMP and get a pick onto her. Unfortunately, that circumstance never really, rose for him to really take advantage of that, but that was the style of play that he was going for, but unfortunately it does come up short. The Sombra from Arhan, just a bit too oppressive, constantly having those EMPs and constantly just taking out Chips on the backsides of those fights. Yeah, just spills the advantage over to Afreeca, which does give them that 1 map lead so far in this series.
Some other factors for sure were definitely the Donghyun defense going into Taimu's ult usage there. The Deadeyes just never was really able to find value except on Night Market. And also Mickey, oftentimes not willing to hold on to his self-destruct, always wanting to use it to remake, then losing but either the Pilot Diva in those moments or just losing his secondary mech after remaking. We saw that a few times throughout that short mini best of 3 on Control. So just some things to be critical of here. But remember, EnVyUs running an unusual comp here with the McCree. And we're going to go into more normal map types now. They're stronger ones, as this is one of their weaker ones, at now 5 and 9 on Control as we head into Hybrid on their map pick.
Well, last time around, versus Kongdoo Panthera, we did see Envy go for Numbani. Was a 2-2 from both sides, couldn't quite get the completion, ended up getting +1 on the card by Kongdoo for that victory. So do they want to revisit Numbani, or do they change things up?
Big question here. Looks like we're going to have a tactical pause actually called early on here. I have to assume this is going to be on the side of EnVyUs. Here it is. So they've got 3 minutes to talk this one out. And I know one of the big talking points for EnVyUs going into this best of 7 was Taimu wanted to play the McCree, and he was told by his coach, okay, today you can play the McCree, give it a good shot. He wasn't allowed to play it, at least didn't show it at all in their series against Panthera. So maybe this is going to be a discussion point going to this one. But it looks like Kai is mostly talking to Harry here as he enters the booth. It's a tough call as to where you go for maps right now for EnVyUs, because they've got a strong hybrid map pool. Their King's Row, something they were famous for in the past. They defeated, last time they faced Afreeca Freecs Blue in the finals, them on Hollywood. So they have a lot of options as to where to pick here. But I think there were just some issues in the backline dive where the supports were being picked off many times. Harry Hook and Chips both had really high deaths in that small mini best of 3 on Control. So perhaps it's trying to bring Mickey into play more defensively, not get caught using those self-destructs to remake, make him at the back, protecting the supports when Arhan comes in for the dive. You see Recry when he's on the Tracer coming in, and we saw several deaths there while Coco and Mickey were trying to get a target that Taimu was aiming for elsewhere. That's when the big TPS dive came in, and you saw the supports die.
I mean, you say it's time for that. I think it's time, actually, that we see a substitution. I think it's time for Kai to make his Apex debut here on EnVyUs.
I would love to see it. He's like talking to Harry because he's like, I want to sit in the booth. Let me play out Lucio, man. He's like, I'll boop him off.
We could do that, replace Coco. More than likely, we could see that swap coming through if that were to ever happen. But, I mean, you got nothing really to lose at this point. A little bit of fight money, like we said. A bit of pride, perhaps. But I think it'd be a fun way to go out.
He could still swap later.
So why the hell not?
Yeah, he could still swap later. He's like, all right, if you guys don't step it up, look, you gave Afreeca their first win in the first best of 7. If you don't step it up, I'm stepping in.
Yeah, he's like, let me tell you something, Taimu. You better tighten up with that McCree or else I'm going to have to debut my...
Just goes in and plays Hanzo.
Please, no. This all sounds awful.
Well, again, for Afreeca Freecs Blue, they definitely are beating EnVyUs basically in every way, except they struggled on the first captures. But their ult economy was definitely better, and I think for the Afreeca coach right now, it's mostly more of the same here, and probably discussing map picks for EnVyUs. Probably bringing up some sore memories of the Hollywood game from that grand finals. It's definitely a high chance of where we're going to see EnVyUs go. Like I said earlier, because they play so many different hybrid maps, they have such a large scale of hybrid, it's tough to predict what they're going to choose right now.
See Effect getting his thoughts through with the translator in the booth, just making sure everything is crystal clear between he and Kai. So, seems like tactical pause is going to be up. Spirit's still relatively high here in the booth for Envy. Still some smiles, of course, on the face of Mickey, but Taimu and Effect as well, sharing in those. So we'll see how they bounce back from that first map loss. Weren't able to recover versus Kongdoo Panthera. But here today, perhaps they can turn it around. Perhaps they can have a better mental state, put some wins on the board, and make this a competitive series.
Yeah, going into this series, it was hard to tell whether we were going to see a one-sided one or this back-and-forth grudge match.
I mean, I'd say it's been that way for the entire playoffs so far, actually.
Yeah, it really has. So we'll see if this one ends up being a closer one, as we are going to the old favorite here for EnVyUs on King's Row.
Just going to make things as even as possible for either side. Keep it around that 50-50 mark.
This is their best hybrid map in Apex at 4-2, so they stick with their best map. They don't have a specific plan here against Afreeca. They're not going to go for perhaps a map they're less successful on historically, but one they've prepared a strategy for this dive comp with the Tracer Genji, the old 2-2-2. So keeping it a little bit more standard here is EnVyUs right now, and hope they can keep their spirits high as we head into this one. Looks like everyone's trying to keep Effect motivated here, as we saw him definitely get a little bit frustrated in that semifinals match.
Well, Mickey doing his damnedest to go ahead and keep the smiles on his face. And if anybody can cheer you up, Mickey's the guy. But let's go ahead, jump onto our second map here. It's King's Row.
Get it.
All right, fans, hanging in there. 7:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, and what better thing could you be doing than sitting here and watching Apex?
You call 7:30 afternoon?
Yes. Given the times that I wake up, this is my afternoon.
Well, it is.
2 p.m. is my morning.
Yeah.
7:30 is my afternoon.
Okay.
And then bedtime's about 4 or 5 a.m., you know.
As a like-minded nerd who sleeps late, I can understand this. I could appreciate this. It's also summer, so the sun isn't down yet.
Yeah, but it's also because, you know, there's so many things to be watching right now. You have, you know, summer games done quick going on. sometimes those speedruns, because they're happening in the the afternoon or the morning in America, means that it's happening in the early AM here in Korea. And by God, I need my Legend of Zelda fix. I have to be watching these games.
And look, I mean, I heard that they were thinking about for 2018 putting the Apex semifinals in the into the rotation because of how quick the Apex semis have been. So a few different teams have decided maybe they could become the first Apex semifinal speedrunners. So again, you're just preparing for 2018, the future.
Yeah, Lunatic-Hai and Kongdoo Panthera definitely have world records on those. But here we go, starting things off. EnVyUs over in the attack. Taimu still playing that McCree.
Not swapping.
Sticking for that maximum comfort. And Afreeca Freecs Blue. Only change up that we're really going to be seeing is Lucid operating over onto that Ana rather than the Zenyatta, at least to start things off here on point A for the defense. Going to get jumped on straight into the back line immediately. Throws out the sleep dart, not going to find a damn thing. As Effect does pick up that kill, but EnVyUs are the ones suffering heavier losses as Chips and Taimu both go down.
Just feels
still
like,
sticking in this though.
Yeah, it feels like we're seeing the big heavy dive from EnVyUs backfire a little bit when Afreeca Freecs Blue turn on them, but looks like in the longer fight here, Effect is just going to keep carrying it. Mono out of the picture here for a moment. Does get taken out completely there by Mickey, so this could be successful after all.
Yeah, this is just the Effect show on attack so far. I mean, that's the first hit coming through, second getting ready to happen right about now. And it seems like they might just have to give up on it. They could do one last ditch defense if they want to, but with Arhan just respawning, maybe they might just peel off of this one. Dongyun does come down, has that Discord Orb on him as he goes dangerously low, will get popped out of the back. Right as Mono rejoins, so going to be solo tanking now, and Taimu's still firing away from the backside. Just helping to chip down these tanks.
Yeah, they're going to do one more attempt to deny, but Manu's picked up first. And
he was trying so hard to keep his head behind that pillar.
There's the cap, 5 minutes plus here for EnVyUs. Looked dire for them at the beginning, but the longer fight with the faster respawns coming in, and even though Chips was picked off, Harry was doing a lot of healing, and Effect somehow went unnoticed there and ended up picking off about 4 kills by himself throughout that longer duration. And with the longer runbacks for Afreeca Freecs Blue, what are you going to do against that? You can never kill the Tracer, and then suddenly you got 6 ults on the side of EnVyUs for this next push. I'd be very happy with this one.
I mean, that was like early Season 3 Effect Taimu coordination that we saw going on right there. Taimu's still just constantly being a threat, but Effect is dashing around, no one able to get hold of him. Goes for it, throws out the pulse bomb, does find the stick in. Onto the mech, knocks Dongyun out of that one. Struck comes through, not going to be finding a pick with that. The side of Mickey actually does get Arhan right at the end. As I do tell a lie, so finds that Dongyun pop out of the back yet again. Just can't seem to stay in it this time around on King's Row. Just consistently knocked in and out. And this payload's just going to keep on moving. Only a minute off the time bank, and they're already over halfway there.
Well, they used 6 ultimates to make that exchange happen. Even Effect dropping down the pulse bomb to try to get the kill there on the DMX Dongyun. He did survive, but very expensive for EnVyUs. But when they have this much of a time bank and what they got out of it, I can't be mad. You know, I have to just give them props for it.
They're already right here. Reekrai does throw out a pulse bomb of his own. Not going to find anything for it. No picks coming through. Arhan off screen does get rid of Effect, finally taking care of that pesky Tracer as he gets that next pulse bomb available. So we'll be delaying it for some time as Afreeca Blue do end up posturing forward onto the payloads. They have control for the moment, but 3.5 minutes on the clock, as you say, just in front of point B. So EnVyUs still have plenty of time to stack up. Chips nearly has that Transcendence ready to go as well.
Yeah, the next attack going to be heavy ults coming in for EnVyUs because they were to build so much for the last one. You're going to see already commitment here to the Nano onto Mono. It's part of the reason why they run the Ana. Looks like a double there for Reekrai at the same time. So this push is going to be shut down in its tracks, really, for only 1 ult. Reekrai holds onto the pulse bomb. Doesn't even have it yet, in fact.
In the meantime, Taimu just kind of solo pushing this payload. Will get jumped on, will get taken down. Stops the rollback from coming through for the moment. This build up for that Deadeye, but yeah, push very much does get halted. So just invests the nano boost, and Mono goes forward with the help of Reekrai. And, I mean, you saw Chips' HP bar just absolutely melt.
Yeah, and at the end of this payload push, though, you do have to be careful doing things like what Taimu just did, because when you die, the run back and the respawn is so long at the stage of the Streets phase, so not getting much out of it. Here comes Arhan's Dragon Blade.
Dragon Blade comes through for the Transcendence is there from Chips to answer, keeping everybody alive, so just nullifying that one. Sound barrier used as well by IDK, so now Afreeca Blue going to be without a support ultimate, whereas Harry Hook nearly has his. Self-destruct thrown out. Oh, a double kill comes through. Taimu running straight into Chips. Glad that pulse bomb stick coming through. Reekrai comes up big, and that is going to stop any potential push that EnVyUs was looking for there. Still have multiple ultimates available for them off the respawns, but time bank certainly shrinking compared to where it once was.
Yeah, definitely. So Mickey going to get that desync respawn there. It feels like Recry is stepping up his play in this game, specifically on the Tracer. We've seen him play a lot of Soldier, switching between the Tracer and the Soldier in the past, but not as successful on our control map as he is here on King's Row, getting several double kills, sometimes without the pulse bombs. EnVyUs is still finally building up these ults. They're going to have the sound barrier for this next push, and they at least have decreased run back with this rollback on the cart.
That's a glass half full if I've ever heard
Sure.
of one.
I mean, I'm just trying to think positive here.
All right, well, that's going to be the nano boost of the Primal Rage out from Mono, leaping up into the sky. Comes up, must come down. He's just wreaking havoc on the backside of the fight, looking for a couple picks, but hasn't found anything yet. Now rejoining the fight, Primal Rage will expire, but he hasn't arrived in time to really save that many members of his team. Recry, Donghyun popped out of the mech. Arhan going down as well as Effect picks up his second kill, looking for a third, does find it as he kills IDK. Can he make it a fourth? The chase in onto Lucid, who's dangerously low. Sleep Dart doesn't connect, and he'll die in the end, so Effect very much cleaning up the members of Afreeca Blue. Payload makes it all the way into the station for point B. Now it's just 2.5 minutes to make it all the way through the founder stage.
I want to see Taimu's the only one who got, or sorry, Recry's the only one who died to this Taimu ult. You have to think he was trying to deny it, trying to punish him there. He went down, so no more flexibility there on the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue to delay, with also Donghyun being demeched. And they used a lot for this, but they got that checkpoint, so it's all good in the end here. Kilios.
That was the ultimate goal, at least for the moment, but already, even without the ultimates, the picks are starting to come through. Lucid and Arhan both falling. Recry having the dash back towards the spawn, is getting jumped on, doesn't have the recall available, 6 HP. He will go down as Effect chases forward, and it's just a massacre right now in favor of EnVyUs. Just keep going straight through the members of Afreeca Freecs Blue, shoving them back into the spawn. And just like that, 2.5 minutes to start the payload, it's right in front of point C.
Okay, Afreeca Freecs Blue gonna have to have a miracle hold here. It's gonna be the Dragon Blade to start things off here. The deflect.
Yeah, jumping in with the Transcendence's area again, and he goes low, and he'll get taken down. Coco zapping him to death. Just go ahead and finish things off. Sound barrier out from Afreeca Blue. They'll be melted through rather quickly, and Amano has already fallen. Donghyun just sitting on top of the payload as best as he possibly can, trying to keep that contested. But the rest of his team, they need that defense matrix. They need him to help body block, but he can't be there because he has to keep this payload.
Here's the self-destruct though.
Throws it out, not going to find anything this time around. Can he get the remake? Looks like the answer is going to be yes. But still, EnVyUs keep getting these picks one after another. Deadeye thrown out by Taimu, looking for the hit. Does find Mono, doesn't kill him. Can't quite get that headshot.
No one's on the
He's
point.
being a very sneaky monkey, and yeah, yet again, no one there. And that is just going to be the push through for EnVyUs. So do get the completion, have some time in the bank.
Does feel like in this entire push phase we saw a lot more defensive play out of Mickey, and also a few times out of Effect, punishing the dive-ins that we were seeing from Mono there. Got caught and killed. There are a few moments where you could see when Taimu was left to his own devices, he was killing the weakened Winston that was jumping back in to join his teammates. And I feel like the big other story on the other side of the coin is, again, Recry playing much better on the Tracer this game, finding those picks, getting more flanks, and I think that's somewhat because of the way that we're seeing the move back from Mickey and, of course, for Effect. But we'll see if this can continue here, as Taimu still not finding much with his dead eyes, but the McCree accuracy is real. We saw the Primal Rage that was used there by Mono. His health went down to about a third because Taimu just pointed his gun at him and chunked it down.
I mean, but it still is operating as a massive, zone tool. Because obviously, this is not the McCree patch with the very quicken or sped up ultimate lock-in for that Deadeye. So still has that longer duration, so it can't really be the damage threat or the kill threat that you see on live servers at the moment, but still does have that massive zoning potential. So everybody having to get behind the crates back towards the spawn, piling behind pillars, because if they move up to the payload, the rest of EnVyUs is there to just kind of kill them, because they have to be focused on not getting clipped by that Deadeye, so they can't really pay attention to perhaps the diva that's running into their face, just booping them out to try to get those hits in from the McCree. So still is quite effective here for Taimu, making this pick work. We know that it's a big favorite of his. It was unfortunate that we didn't get to see it during that match versus Kongdoo Panthera. Maybe it would have made the difference specifically on Oasis, where we saw the pharmacy comp come through and the soldier wasn't really delivering.
He just seems...
But that's in the past.
He seems kind of hell-bent on running it. Arhan's going to stick with this. Genji, though, Recry's going to be on the soldier here on attack. Did show the Widow for just a moment to scout things out. We'll see it's the same exact composition. And we'll see if they can find the supports yet again, as Arhan is looking to the back line here. Unfortunately, unsuccessful. Gets taken out.
Oh, and Taimu just finds him, just takes him down. off the top of the movie theater, snipes them out. And Envy, they're just going to push all the way up to the choke. And just try to keep them contained. Lucid has swapped back over onto that Zenyatta to try to be the tank buster assist that Afreeca desperately needs.
Yeah, a lot tougher to use Afreeca Freecs' style of trying to get in the back and killing the squishy heroes, the supports, when you actually have Recry on the soldier instead of on the tracer, just less mobile here. Oh, the headshot's coming through.
There we go. Gets it on the last one, so a bit dirty, but oh, there we go. Follows up for the second one, finds Recry, and the punch straight into Donghyun as the baby diva charging forward into the hotel. We'll go ahead and get an instant replay of that one, so make it 1, we'll make it 2. And
Mickey got the third one, but that's all right.
We didn't get to see the punch. Oh well.
It's okay. We saw what matters here, and is that Taimu is looking comfortable on the McCree pick. He's been, you know, kind of leashed on the soldier, you could say, by Kai throughout most of this tournament. When he's left to be able to play the McCree, though.
I mean, he's already got the Deadeye ready to go.
Yeah, with all the damage done there, they build up a massive ult lead. Harry Hook's also going to grab the sound barrier just meant. We're going to see Transcendence pop first.
Yeah, it's going to be from both of these Zenyatas. Taimu sitting in the middle of it, looking for a Deadeye target. Looks like he did get the pop on the Donghyun smack. Yeah, knocks him out. Right at the end of that one, they take him down in the end. And Afreeca Blue, potentially in danger of getting full health here on point A. Invested some of their ultimates there. We'll have a couple more coming up shortly, but they're still just getting picked off one after another, so the stagger is massive, and there's not even a single tick on this point with 2 minutes remaining.
Just not getting kills at all on EnVyUs. Recry is going to desperately switch to the Widow to try to get some of those.
I mean, this is a rare one, the late Widow swap on King's Row. Usually it's the first 15 seconds to whole point cap.
Yeah.
But he's going for this one in the latter minutes of this take.
Looking to try to get Mickey out of the mech, unsuccessful here. Aron dies immediately to Chips. Probably the right click there, we'll never know, but this is just disastrous. Again, Afreeca Freecs wasting ultimates now, and this may be the next 6-man push to try to use 6 ults will be the last one they'll get this game with only 1:30 left on the clock.
I mean, this is just disgusting. Where was this EnVyUs in the semifinal match? Aron just gets absolutely bodied, loses that massive cooldown. And right now, the only ones they have going to themselves is Primal Rage, really, and the Sound Barrier. They can at least use.
Hey, they got infrared.
Yeah, they have infrasight. Okay, but I mean, they will soon have a self-destruct at least from Donghyun to try to zone Envy off the point. Maybe that gains them a first tick.
But this was
can pile in. But
yeah, this was a push that was designed to do well, but not necessarily cap. But now this is going to be their last chance, realistically, to have multiple ults here. The Sound Barrier not really paired with anything here. Aron's about to have that Dragon Blade, but he's still just a few percentage points off here.
I mean, they still only made it halfway to that first tick. Lucid goes down. Aron's fallen as well. In fact, desperately trying to win this duel against Recry. Gets him down to 2% HP. But he is dangerously low himself, so can't push forward. But you can see Mono and Donghyun still up here onto the point, but they can't get the contest coming through because Kopko has that Primal Rage available, will pop it, knocks him into the house. Mono's going to go ahead and match. As the rest of Afreeca do push forward, finally looking for that cap in this last 30 seconds. Can they get it? Because even if they do, they still have to make it all the way to the end. They have to get the completion. Bubbles down to block out that self-destruct. Won't find anything on that end, but the Deadeye does take out IDK. Lucid falls, both supports.
Again!
Taimu! The perfectly timed grenade coming out. I just lost my mind for a second there. Couldn't even think after that play. Just takes Aron out.
Recry's dead too.
Mid-air after that Dragon Blade comes through. Now Aron forced to jump off of the Genji onto the Tracer in the last vestiges of this push. Now into overtime as they desperately try to get this entire cap coming through. Transcendence is used out by Lucid as they try to push in, but he's going to go down, and you have to think that that's going to be the last of the hopes here for Afreeca Blue.
That's going to be it. Looks like time ticking down here. Recry and Aron going to try to buy time. Don't think he can get in here. Pushed out now. IDK also denied, and that is going to be the cap here, or rather the deny. The overtime ticks down, and EnVyUs will shift the momentum. Talk about a momentum shift there. We had that first game was so close, and EnVyUs looked really frustrating. They had the tactical pause called, and that was a one-sided full hold there. Coming out, Aron with 2 completely wasted Dragon Blades there. The ult synergy on the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue didn't exist going into this one, this attack, and they kept using 2 ults at once or not committing the ults, and Taimu shutting down those Dragon Blades both times meant there was never going to be another good ult push coming out for the Freaks. Even if there was, like you said, would have been a terrible time bank, but they couldn't even look for that.
I mean, what this looked like was this looked like the Season 1 Grand Final between Envy and Afreeca Freecs Blue, because they just absolutely crushed them. Aron looking worthless on the Genji here on King's Row. Obviously, has had some star-studded performances, is known for his Genji play around the world, but that was the depths of his Genji moments where he just really sinks to the bottom of the barrel. Brutal stuff from Envy, just completely crushing them. We'll get that play of the game here from Daimu. I think we know which play this is going to be.
Let's take a look.
Yep, yet again.
Oh yeah, this is going to be it. Smash Samir, the headshot comes in.
Honestly, I'd rather see those 2 clips of him just shutting down Arhan instantly. Especially that last one, because I was at a loss for words after that one. Mid-air denying that Dragon Blade. Just beautiful stuff from Daimu.
Arhan just diving in, dying twice without any protection, and that allows plays like this to be made. You have to give full credit to Daimu for being able to hit the headshots, to be able to hit the grenades when they matter, but if there was more protection there, if we saw the nano boost, which we saw Lucian switch off of, or we saw the transcends, maybe then he could have actually made something happen there, even with good accuracy from Daimu, but with no support, had no chance.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to be a 1-1 score line as we go into our first break here of the evening. When we come back, we'll have map 3, see who's going to take a lead in this series, and maybe even close it out from there. EnVyUs gaining a massive amount of momentum after King's Row. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게.
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish sparkling water, Trevi.
As a full-time streamer, my computer has to keep up with everything I do, all my streaming applications and the Twitch chat at the same time as the game. The Core i7 allows me to really concentrate on my viewers and my community.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a tied-up series here. Afreeca Freecs Blue able to take Lijiang Tower. EnVyUs completely steamrolling them, however, on King's Row all the way, shoved to the end, got point C, and then full held them on A in convincing fashion.
I don't know what Kai said to them exactly in the booth, but perhaps he just spoke in hexes and curses on Arhan, and then also told Taimu to shoot at him because he was killing him left and right. The headshots coming in from the inner building there when they came into the choke point. It was unreal on the defense there, and unfortunately for Afreeca Freecs Blue now, the momentum has massively shifted.
He imparted some secret knowledge handed down generation to generation as he held Effect closely and whispered in his ear, "Tilt Arhan." And tilt Arhan they did.
Yeah, he is definitely at about 45-degree angle off of what he should be right now. Very much tilted, we would say. Well, we're going into now our assault map, our 2CP. We stick with the normal. The first three maps are going to be as you expect in even for best of 5. So to find out where we're headed, last time was Volskaya when they met each other. It is going to be Hanamura. And this was the map pick of EnVyUs against Kongdoo Panthera. This time picked against them by Afreeca Freecs Blue, so perhaps they studied that semifinal match.
Well, this was also, you know, the map that we saw Afreeca Freecs Blue play versus Lunatic-Hai as well, so both of them having recently played this. Was one of the few tiebreakers, I believe one of 3 tiebreakers that we've had in Apex Season 3 thus far on Hanamura, both teams going 3-3, and then had that Lijiang Tower tiebreak where Lunatic-Hai ended up taking it and forced out match point. So both of them having those recent experiences here on this map. We'll see what kind of strategy they want to bring out. I expect Afreeca Freecs Blue probably going to play something like a Tracer and a Genji.
I expect so, especially on attack, right? Maybe Recry runs the Widow for a second.
Maybe even on defense.
Hey, I mean, we've seen both IDK and Mickey play the Torbjorn, so anything can happen here on defense, especially. The Sombra play coming out from Taimu as well.
That's very true. Well, we'll see what they're going to piece together. Maybe Torbjorn will pop his head out for either of these teams. Let's go ahead and jump on to Hanamura. Game 3, see who takes the lead in this series.
I get it.
All right, well, Afreeca Blue will be on the attack to start things off. And if you remember from EnVy's game here on Hanamura versus Kongdoo Panthera, got absolutely steamrolled while they were on defense. A 5+ minute time bank at the end of capping point B for Kongdoo Panthera. So EnVy is going to be looking to turn things around a little bit.
Well, that's one way to switch off the Widow.
Yeah, you know.
Showing some style here. Coco teasing, but he's not switching.
We know that the Winston is here to stay.
Yeah. I was hoping we might get to see some Coco Reinhardt today, but we knew those hopes also would be unfounded. But we will see the Mickey Torbjorn, it looks like, for now. They're sticking with the Taimu Sombra, the Mickey Torbjorn. We've seen this before with Harry Hook flexing onto the Soldier.
Yeah, so it's going to be the solo support from Chips, which means that his life is that much more valuable. So has to be extra careful given the triple DPS comp that Afreeca Blue are hovering at the moment.
Yeah, it's not going to be any Ariza protection against how Afreeca Freecs Blue plays. That wouldn't be too helpful anyways with the extra shielding there. It's about the dive. Donghyun flexes onto the Tracer here, actually. So it's going to be triple DPS from Afreeca Freecs Blue. Donghyun, a rare Diva / Tracer main, one of the only ones in this tournament. And with the hack here, we'll look to get the first pick.
In fact, yeah, just going to smack him down, has that melee hit to go ahead and confirm the kill. So Donghyun, you know, he's got to shake off the rust. He hasn't played the Tracer in a little while.
It has been a while.
Has to get back into it here.
Yeah, it's a rare triple DPS from Afreeca Freecs, but this is how they do run it when they do.
I mean, it's such a crappy position to be in, honestly, where you have to flex onto Tracer versus Effect, who has the highest KD in the league. And just like that, poke around the back from Taimu, Effect on the front side. They take out Lucid. IDK goes down. Mono following suit very rapidly. And that is 4 kills picked up.
Man.
Make it 5 as
Harry.
Arhan will die.
You know, it's not so rare we see Harry on the Soldier, but it's always a treat when we do see this setup from EnVyUs, the ex-Soldier player here. And Taimu actually somehow nearly got the EMP off there. Hands in the air after that one. Might have had some choice words.
Back. I mean, he can rejoin the team very quickly, but this still does give a bit of an opening here for Afreeca Blue. They can push in, kind of split up around the sides, and themselves nicely spread for that EMP that will inevitably be coming in with Taimu's rejoining.
Yeah, they're trying to come in here and find an angle on this turret.
Advisor is out there from Harry firing away, but the defense matrix is there to eat up a lot of it. Sleep starts coming through as they just kind of bounce Donghyun around. Will pop him out of the back at the end. Oh, and Harry with the Helix rockets from downtown finds Mono right at the bottom of that leap. Will get the kill. Mickey now with that Molten Core ready to go, and EnVy have a very nice position for themselves as they just try to hunt down Arhan.
Yeah, actually going pretty far on looking for that hunt. They're getting themselves a little bit vulnerable.
There we go. Effect's got him in the end.
Taimu has this EMP, so perhaps they're hoping for the bait in. Look at this, everyone's weak. You can see the vulnerabilities there, and this is going to be the blast down the EMP. This is easily another shutdown push for Afreeca Freecs Blue. But they're holding a lot of ults here, so this next push is going to be a scary one. Only notable missing one will be the self-destruct. And Taimu, because he used that EMP there, it's not going to be available to stop Afreeca Freecs Blue from steamrolling through this point necessarily.
So one of the things that we see Taimu doing just in this map already alone is that he's playing this very aggro. You know, he's a very aggressive player, wants to just go in, try to get these kills. Pulse bomb out, that's fine. Lucid, nicely done there from the side of Effect, and I'll hold my point for the moment as Attack Visor is down here from Recry. Grabs around the corner, but has to show respect to Harry Hook, but doesn't respect him fast enough, does go down in the end. Couple kills coming through here for EnVy, but Taimu has gone down yet again. Dragon Blade out for Arhan. Molten Core gets popped, and Harry Hook has the Helix Rockets yet again to come with the kill. Nano boost in onto the Torbjorn. Looking for Donghyun. He'll get taken out. And EnVy yet again will hold. But what I was saying was that, you know, very aggressive player is Taimu, but I would like to see him play more mind games, you know, with Lucid on the other side. Try to bait out that Transcendence, because he does have it at the moment. Sure. Just throw out the Translocator and then just immediately back out.
Yeah, we're not seeing a whole lot of that. We're seeing some overextensions on the Sombra. This might be another one. Could be successful, though. Trying to find the angle here. Actually diving in with Coco. We will see the toss here, but not going to be for an EMP. He's waiting for that one, looking for the hack here in the back line. Actually, somehow just completely ignored by Afreeca Freecs Blue. So the EMP will be available. It's a miracle they were able to make that Molten Core Nano work without it.
But already, I mean, Recry has gone down. They had to use the Transcendence just to get themselves around onto this flank, and now they don't have it to try to force themselves onto the point. No sound barrier either. Taimu yet again does go down. So isn't playing perhaps as timidly as he should. Backing out in time. Sleep Dart coming through, but immediately woken up his mono, but he's still going dangerously low. OGN gonna get popped on the mech, just desperately trying to get that kill in on the Chips, but he stays alive, much to the help of that armor coming through from Mickey, and now it's into overtime as they try to hold on, but Mickey has fallen. Turret destroyed as well, and seems like this might just be the window of opportunity here for Afreeca to get the cap. It'll be 4 minutes on the clock for them, and I think EnVyUs, yeah, they're just going to have to give this one away.
Yep, going to be taken in overtime to get that 4 minutes, 3:59, if you will, and Arhan actually really showing his Tracer ability here, as we did see the switch back from Donghyun onto the D.Va, which is part of what allowed them to make this happen in the first place. Taimu will be switching off the Sombra as well, which is funny that now Sombra's a point A defender more than a point B defender in this meta, but that's not how she started here with Twilight. Either way, I think Donghyun giving some extra peel there definitely helped them secure this. Not the biggest time bank in the world to work with, though.
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, already less of a time bank than we saw Kongdoo Panthera finish with against Envy.
That's definitely it for sure.
But yeah, weren't really in a position to try to snowball this either. They do have both support ultimates coming up very shortly, so perhaps they could try to force themselves in onto the point and get a cap that way, or at least build up a couple ticks.
Oh, Arhan, the double!
Yeah, actually just find a double kill with that pulse pop. Didn't have it on screen. Now the sound barrier comes down, so they do want to pile in, take advantage of this one with one of the supports being gone.
Mickey doesn't have that defense matrix anymore. It's on cooldown. It looks like he's going to be knocked out of the mech regardless because he didn't have it. Recry didn't even use attack visor. It's available here.
Yeah, he's just going to fall, and that's a Transcendence coming through, is now EnVyUs. That's really going to try to be getting these respawns in to get back onto the point, but the second tick is there, and maybe they just have the cap.
Looks
have
like
to get onto that one very quickly, but Recry, yeah, with the nano visor, just cuts them down, and just like that, support ultimates come through. Big opening from Arhan. Wasn't on screen, unfortunately. Perhaps we have some way of replaying that one so we can get a view of it, but finds the double kill, and that's just it.
It's really funny because I thought what partially we might see was Arhan look for a pick like that, and if it went wrong, he'd switch to the Genji, try to build up for Dragon Blade, maybe use the Transcendence there with the support ultimates coming online right around that time. But because he got the double pick there, they were able to win big. Mickey felt desperate, wanted to go up and try to deny what he thought was going to be a fast tack visor there. Had to use his defense matrix on the way there, so when he went up to the high ground, didn't have it available, was killed immediately as we saw there, and Recry just carried the fight from there. Tack visor was completely irrelevant at the end of the day in that fight because of the double kill from Arhan. So now we're heading into a decent time bank for EnVyUs to contest against, but not the biggest we've ever seen. Looks like this is going to be... Oh, this is a timer replay, never mind.
This is him maybe getting... Oh, yep, getting killed. Okay. Oh, here we go.
There we go. That's the one we want to see.
Yeah, thankfully we do have it. I mean, he just dashed straight in there, and they were just so clumped up. A very easy target.
Just coming in the backline is something that Arhan has done really well with the Genji all night long, and now showing it again on the Tracer as you see the swap over for the Tracer Soldier. And the support play from EnVyUs not always protected by Mickey, and in those moments we've seen them get punished. Starting things off on Lijiang, and the trend has continued on the Tracer now instead of the Genji, but Arhan has very easily identified the weaknesses in positioning.
Well, Timer's like, well, I'm back on attack. I'm just going to play McCree again.
Looks like it.
So maximum comfort here for Taimu. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that he has fun. So hopefully that is the case for him playing this McCree. And, even better for him would be getting a win. Well, we'll be starting things off yet again, the 2-2-2 coming through.
Yeah. Only having really the Tracer and the Winston for the dive. Afreeca Freecs going to use the Soldier defensively with double support, some more sustain. No Torbjorn, nothing like that. There's a more sustained hold here. Donghyun going to be looking to play very defensively. Up here on the high ground is Mickey.
Has to drop down though, goes pretty dangerously low and needs to get top back up. That will give quite a bit of meterage over to Harry Hook and Chip, so he's going to be happy to go ahead and top him up. In fact, pushing in, has the complete open backside of Donghyun to fire against. But still is building up that pulse bomb rather slowly, and Afreeca Blue are going to be the ones finding those picks as Time and Chip's bulls go down. In fact, dashing in, has to recall out, but he's still in no man's land. Back against the wall, surrounded by enemies. You see the rest of the team going to go ahead and jump off. As in fact, tries to exit, but gets clipped right at the end by Recry. Nice aim.
Stagger respawn there. In that fight, Effect targeted down Donghyun from behind for a whole clip, wasn't able to get the kill, then switched his targets to the weakened members of EnVyUs. That's when Donghyun's defense matrix was there. So throughout that entire time we were watching him, he was doing a whole lot of nothing. The opposite of his ID here. And the rest of the team just lets it go as Mono was really able to carry that fight sort of off camera.
Same exact wraparound here from EnVyUs. This time working their way into the point. Oh, but the headshot yet again from Taimu. Second time we see that one missed on the
blocked by
Tracer here
Donghyun
today. Yeah, doesn't have that one coming through. Arhan does dash in, and Harry Hook has the kill. Beck throwing out the pulse bomb. Not going to be finding any kills with that one, and Freak does have that attack visor ready to go. But the sound barrier comes through here from EnVyUs. That's going to force his retreat, but he's not going to have enough time to do so as Taimu just cuts him down while he's running back. Trying to find the shot here onto Lucid. Can't quite get it. Has to dodge out onto that self-destruct. It's taken up with a biotic grenade, of all things, will be finished off. As Envy still trying to posture in onto this point. Have that first tick coming through. Mono leaping back in. Way back onto the point to try to keep this one in contention, but it's nearly a second tick gain for Envy.
Yeah, Primal Rage used here already. Coco getting the double with that one. And Afreeca Freecs Blue obviously having the long run backs here. Arhan, though, gets the pick onto Harry, and they're just staggering this point for so long, somehow, some way.
Now they're pushing in. They have the Transcendence there. The second tick has been gained. Deadeye thrown out here by Taimu just to keep them zoned off. Arhan will come through. Doesn't have the kill, but Coco does. So that will be the cap. 5.5 minutes just about on the clock here for EnVyUs as they get ready to push in. They're going to get a nice couple kills. Can they just snowball this when you hear that speed boost coming through? So Envy might want to just try to transition this straight into a cap.
Yeah, hoping to get the pick there onto Lucid. They don't have any ultimates to use with this, but there's going to be a few coming out soon.
I mean, that's already one tick gained up. They knocked Donghyun out of that mech yet again. Taimu finding it with a flashbang. In fact, dashing around will go down in the end. Arhan and Mono just sticking to him like glue. And the rest of the team will go ahead and start peeling back, but first tick off the snowball, not bad, and they're going to be forcing Afreeca Blue to go ahead and use some of these ultimates. Attack visor now going to be down.
They force the ultimates to be used. They don't use any themselves. They just come and look for some picks there, build up a lot more ult charge. The next push is going to be a scarier one. They were definitely trying to maybe find an opportunity. Taimu goes on the high ground. He finds out Donghyun was demeched early in the fight. But after the picks came through, they just backed off. No reason to continue to contest there. This wasn't going to be the big push. They got a huge bonus with this tick. So already again contesting this high ground using Taimu's McCree.
I mean, the sooner that he can get another Deadeye, that will yet again just zone people off of that point. If not, force Donghyun to have to go forward and leave the squishier members alone. In the meantime, picks are coming through. Mickey finds Lucid with the self-destruct, and Taimu is taking out Arhan. Sound barrier thrown down here for Envy as they try to take this one. The Primal Rage does come through here from Mono, smacking chips away from the point. Will stay alive for the moment. Mono goes low. Taimu finds him. Deadeye, plus flashbang and a couple shots helps take him down, and it's nearly the cap here for EnVyUs. Would be about a minute plus over the time making for Afreeca Blue, and they're gonna have it.
So the Deadeye, as you say, helps zone out there. Everyone is distracted, moving into a safer zone. And while that's happening on the kind of chaos on the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue, Effect goes in, gets the 3K during all of that, and you see the Primal Rage come down, all this desperation, but Taimu just accurate as hell throughout that last push. And we've seen Taimu on the McCree with mixed results tonight, but when he's good, he's really good. And that was another example of such a massive lead for EnVyUs because they got that first tick on the first push. They had the ult advantage, gave him several tools to make this happen in the first place, but very well played. And it really just came down to the better attack on the side of EnVyUs on the first push, gave him a better time make and the better ults. Didn't have to use as many as Afreeca Freecs Blue. The forced ults on this side of Afreeca Freecs Blue too with that push where the Freaks panicked a little bit because they thought it might be the full cap. Definitely gave them a nice edge.
Well, Envy starting off on the defense here yet again. Have to hold off for 2 minutes 42. We saw how long they were able to hold the first time around. Afreeca Blue having to get that cap in overtime. And then we're very fortunate with that double pulse bomb to be able to very swiftly pick up the second point. We won't be seeing the Torbjorn this time around, though. As Mickey wants to remain a bit more defensive here for his team, protect Chips in particular, so he can keep everybody topped off. So we'll be running with that Diva.
Okay, let's see if they can make this a more standard hold here. Let's see how aggressively Taimu runs forward.
Yeah,
it's going to be one right here.
It's a snapback, doesn't build up for that much, but there we go. The health pack does come through in the end, pops himself up to about 30% HP. As Afreeca Blue start wrapping around that left-hand side. So same avenue of approach, but Taimu yet again does go down right as we cut away from Recry's point of view. finds the pick in onto that Sombra, so we'll be delaying that EMP, which will be very crucial for this defense. Already Afreeca Blue pushing forward, looking for that first tick. Recry goes down, but Coco and Effectu very swiftly thereafter. And this is just going to be the killing fields here for Afreeca Blue. They just cut down EnVyUs very swiftly, and honestly, we might have that first cap coming in right off the bat. Yeah, Mickey says, you know what, I'm not even going to try. We'll just let them have it.
It looks like they were considering sending Mickey back, or Mickey was considered coming in to try to do some sort of last-minute miracle hope that was just destined to fail. Now Afreeca Freecs Blue has this decent time bank to try to get a tick. They have several ults about to be ready. And it was really just good target prioritization. You could tell the shot calling on the side of the Blue, definitely picking out the weakened targets there and focusing them down. Better focusing overall.
1v2 here from Donghyun, dashes away to the side of Helix Rockets, will not connect. Still doesn't have the recall though, and Effect will win out in the end with the assist there from Taimu as they find those kills.
Afreeca Freecs Blue stop. About to have so much though for this push. The Dragon Blade is ready. Arhan gets taken out here, but that's fine. This push was not the one. The next push is going to be the one they have to be worried about. Sound Barrier and Transcendence, the Primal Rage to buy extra time. The staggering seer could be huge. Mono actually hides.
Have they not noticed him?
It doesn't look like it. This
He's
could be huge.
He's a massive ape.
He can take out Ana right away. That's going to be the idea. Chips is unaware, waits for the clip, and the target comes in.
Biotic Grenade comes down, but it's still not enough. Mono comes up with that kill, and somehow Envy just did not notice. Now straight into the Primal Rage. Harry Hook will be bopped away.
Ninja Monkey.
To the point they go, and that's going to be the first tick coming through, so already EnVyUs' attack is going to be that much more difficult. And he's zoning Mickey all the way back, pops him out of the mech. Transcendence throw down, second tick coming through now for the side of Afreeca Blue. Sound Barrier in, they're all in for this one. Primal Rage plus the Transcendence, and that Nano Boost coming down as EnVyUs desperately tries to regain control. Chips has swapped over onto the Mei for the delay tactics, but can they retake the point? Can they stop this from coming through? Already it's 45 seconds that they have to hold off.
Already 66% captured here though for Afreeca Freecs Blue with this crazy tactic, and even if they end up holding here, this was an amazing play by the Freaks. Good targeting there, the predictable support
positioning.
They
didn't get the second tick, it was just shy of it.
Okay, but still, the predictable positioning of the supports there.
It says 66.1%.
Yeah, you got me, man. I guess it's 67 technically is the second tick. I'm not the math major, but okay. I think it's 66 or 67%
There's probably a decimal point that has to be achieved. Oh, Effect, he does it again in the same corridor. Comes up with 2 kills, Recry and IDK both going down right off the bat. Dashes himself out there to safety. Meanwhile, Arhan does have that Dragon Blade ready to go, but it doesn't matter. He's just trying to pad the KDA at this point.
Well, 66%, nearly the second tick there from Afreeca Freecs Blue, and just this kind of massive push there where they targeted down, punishing the positioning of the supports, which you always see the Ana there, right? Then they were able to see the predictable positioning of Chips as well with the Zenyatta. The call came in, and it was Recry and, of course, Mono who dove in, got those 2 picks, removed the support ultimates. They had 6 ults to work with, so that was kind of a sick play where somehow the monkey was hidden.
So I'm an idiot. It's 66.6%.
Yeah, I mean that's
would be that.
Basically, that's what I was saying. 67% is like the rounded up.
Yeah, that would be point. Yeah, okay.
What do you think about like I'm
getting ready to turn 25. I haven't taken math since my early college years. It's been a while, guys. I apologize.
Getting old, Achilles.
I talk about video games for a living. I don't do maths.
But look at this play. This was a nice play that obviously partially was EnVyUs' mistake to not see Mono up on the high ground there, but you gotta love plays like this, and his ability to think of this on the fly, communicate this with Recry, and make that happen is part of the reason why, of course, this Winston will be representing South Korea at the World Cup. So, love to see moments like this. But still not the second tick, as you said, just 0.5% shy. So EnVyUs is going to be looking for the Taimu on the McCree once more. Nothing really has changed here with Chips on the Zenyatta. They look to loop around here. Donghyun the target it looked like, but does escape.
They're going for the right side approach. And they see Afreeca Blue up on top, the building on the left, so they will just wrap around the other side, trying to take the safest path available, but Chips already does go down. Arhan finding that pick. Taimu firing away, but not really connecting with too much. That's one shot there onto Arhan. A couple spammed into Mono, but no kills rolling in for the McCree yet. He's going to get taken down.
And they were trying so hard to kind of retreat around there, knock Donghyun out of the mech. Mickey's going to get his mech down finally, but at a large cost of a staggered respawn. He gets taken out by IDK himself, and A lot of time burned here for EnVyUs, who has a long, long road to push down with the very deep cap that we saw from Afreeca Freecs Blue. They built up some ultimates with this, but the supports being picked off consistently for EnVyUs has been the biggest weakness for them tonight. As you can see, Chips and Harry at half of their counterparts in ult percentage right now.
Gonna get jumped on there at that bar. Yeah, like Grenade keeps himself topped up. Building up for that pulse bomb. Desperately wants to use it to get rid of these supports. Up and down onto that low ground, just trying to contest wherever he can, but EnVyUs have found their way onto the point for in the meantime. First tick coming through for them. And it looks like they will just go ahead and get the second one for Freak, and they just ride this all the way out to 100%. Well, the recontest does come through here from the side of Afreeca, but Mono gets taken out immediately by that pulse bomb, and now it's going to be all in the back of Donghyun. Try and hold on to this one.
Lucid actually dropping the nano. It's surprising they actually commit to this here. We'll see if it ends up being worth it, because it could cost them big on the second attack for EnVyUs.
They nearly have this one ready to go. The pulse bomb's still there from Arhan, but he hasn't thrown it out this entire time, and Taimu finally finds a couple kills to the Deadeye, too, coming up here for that McCree. So 2 minutes 20 on the clock.
It could go for the really heavy cap here, obviously with so many ults available right now. Unfortunate that the nano boost is not going to be one of the ones on the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue. Definitely didn't really find them any value whatsoever. Primal Rage versus Primal Rage could be very important, and the self-destructs as well. So it's kind of a dead even ult economy for both teams. The defender's advantage, though, for the Freaks.
Taimu doing his best Mono impression. He's wrapping around the stairwell, tries to get the shots in, but takes a bit of damage there from the Helix Rocket's good reaction. Now he's getting jumped on. He's going to go down. Already used the flashbang. Sound barrier out here for Afreeca Blue as they try to hold on. It's going to be the Transcendence investment here from EnVyUs. They really want to go for this one here. Don't have any follow-up. Pulse bomb coming down perfectly timed by Arhan. Finds the kill onto Chips. Follows up with one onto Harry Hook. No supports available. And EnVy going to have to regroup, but massive investment for these guys using that Transcendence there. And Afreeca Blue, they still have 3 ultimates ready to go.
And this is just a showcasing of Arhan's systematic approach to Tracer. He sees the already the Transcendence is burned. He just waits for the perfect pulse bomb angle there. Does massive damage at the center of it as it expires. Gets the double there. They used very little for this, and Mickey not having the self-destruct I feel is the most egregious of all, because that's such a nice.
Taimu! This gets taken down. Recry.
Yeah, but, you know, as I was saying, like, without the self-destruct, how are they going to initiate a fight coming in here? The sound barrier for what? It's not like we're seeing any dive heroes except Effect and Coco.
I mean, without DPS, how are they going to initiate a fight?
It's going to take a long time for him to run back. Effect is taken out as well. And Mickey can't build up to anything right now, or he'll be demec'd, which will ruin everything. So the fact that they have primal range and self-destruct, and now finally they're going to have that nano coming in here as well from Lucid. Feels like a miracle is going to be required for EnVyUs to take this one.
Yeah. So basically needing that second tick to come through, just shy of that here for EnVyUs. Go ahead and close this out, take the lead in the series, but Afreeca Blue very much postured to do so with the 4 ultimates that they have available. Harry will have a sound barrier very shortly. That's about all they'll have to ride in on other than the Primal Rage, which can just buy them some time. Effect, if he can get a massive opening with a Pulse Bomb, that could be the game changer, but he already has to hightail it out. Tac Visor thrown down, Primal Rage answered here by Coco as he tries to stay alive, but Taimu is getting it gone down off screen. Mono comes up with a kill. Self-destruct here from Donghyun, not going to find anything. Mickey is demec'd, he is taken out as Donghyun finds the kill.
Just can't get in
here. Things are
here.
not looking good here for the side of EnVyUs. Transcendence back available here for Chips. Will be used to push forward, topping up Coco yet again as they desperately try to buy time, but they haven't even made that first tick, and Chips is under fire. Won't go down, however, just now. Look, gets taken out as Mono is able to scoop up the kill.
Can they keep this momentum going?
They find Arhan, but Effect has gone down. Major delay tools being lost out here for EnVyUs. Harry Hook having to tag back in to try to keep this overtime rolling. Taimu falls.
Okay, Mickey
comes through.
About to have that self-destruct that's so important. They could buy so much time. He could remech with it, but he loses the mech 3% shy.
He doesn't have it, and the odds that he can make it back in are just slim to none. He will go down. Coco yet again popping the Primal Rage. Has to get back in onto the point desperately to try to keep this one alive. Jumps up into the air, drops back down for one final tag. His Effect rejoins in. Recalls out, and that will be it. Afreeca Blue are able to hold strong, and they will take Hanamura, and they'll take the lead in this series 2-1.
Using a lot of ults there early for EnVyUs, such a problem. The kill there onto Taimu really hurt that push as well, but Mickey not having the self-destruct was the big tool missing on the side of EnVyUs. They kept it even, and we saw the Ninja Monkey to get the 66% ticks there for Afreeca Freecs Blue. But as you said, when Taimu tried to use his own ninja tactics there, got punished effect as well. And the defensive play against the dive, much better for Afreeca Freecs. The support deaths for EnVyUs this series so far have been massive, and you have to wonder when your opponents are using twice as many ults as you, perhaps it's time to shift the protection back for Mickey. We saw signs of that on King's Row, but going back on a Hanamura, it felt like he was shifting back into old habits, and the amount of times we've seen the pickoffs onto Harry, the pickoffs onto Chips, was just too many.
I mean, honestly, I think one of the biggest mistakes that Envy made was Chips using that Transcendence at the end, dropping off the high ground rather than either dying and just running back with the rest of his team, or just falling back and trying to make it out safely. Because using that Transcendence, sure, he got one right at the end of the fight, but they couldn't chain it with, you know, the sound barrier. Couldn't drop one, then go straight into another for the support ultimate usage.
Yeah,
so it's just really odd use of the ultimates when EnVyUs does throw them out.
It just feels like some panic ultimates a lot of the time, especially with Mickey's self-destruct. Looks like we're headed to Route 66 again. It was actually where we saw the end of EnVyUs in terms of regular season, where they lost in that semifinals against Panthera. It will be their map choice here again. We'll see if this time it ends up getting value.
I mean, this was actually both selection yet again from Afreeca Blue and EnVyUs going to Route 66. They both lost. It was the final map of their 0-4 runs in the semifinals. So both these teams are coming off of losses, but Envy's still going to be feeling confident in this pick against Afreeca Blue.
I'm curious to see what EnVyUs' plan is here on defense, because we know that dive is the way to pop up onto Big Earls and take that away if they want to use that for their secondary stronghold position. We're not in the Reinhardt meta anymore, so it's not as solidified as a position, but picking this map into such great dive, even the triple DPS dive, we see Donghyun flex on the Tracer, feels scary, and could come back to bite EnVyUs here with this map choice.
Yep. I don't know, maybe Taimu going to be wanting to go for something like the Widowmaker, try to open up some picks in that regard. Haven't really seen it from him yet today, but let's go ahead, load up for our fourth map, see if Afreeca Blue can take the match point or if Envy will yet again tie the score 2-2.
Get it.
All right, here we go, Route 66, where both of these teams, their dreams of the grand final died.
Yeah, and in this series at least,
the stakes are lower this time.
Yeah. Well, also EnVyUs has at least one map after this one if the momentum does continue to be in the Freaks' favor. So the Afreeca Freecs Blue will be defending first, and it will be the normal Lucid Ana for the defense. Mickey shows a Genji here, which would be pretty cool to watch, but I have no faith that he will hold on to it, as it would be Taimu playing the hero otherwise. We've heard rumors of Effects Genji, but haven't really seen it. We saw him flex onto the soldier. And the lack of dive for EnVyUs on this map could end up being a problem. But we don't really know what they're going to run yet. We'll find out in the next 10 seconds or so here. It is going to be Arhan sticking with the Sombra, though, so actually we'll be switching it up a little bit.
I mean, we saw how many kills he was able to, take away with that Sombra. So not too shocking. Taimu for now, just looking for the scatter arrow. It does find a hit. And nothing with the Sonic Arrow.
Back
so
to the
straight
McCree.
back over to the McCree. So, what a surprise. As they get ready to push forward. So same composition for these guys moving forward yet again.
Swinging around this first point, it is going to be the high ground defense here, obviously for Afreeca Freecs Blue, with no Genji on the side of EnVyUs. Just Effect and Coco to come up to the top. And Taimu's looking for picks here, as they do control this high ground now.
I mean, he's got a really nice angle, but immediately Donghyun comes in, gets a couple shots in as he dashes way back, but there's two tanks, one of them being a very angry scientist, so Taimu will yet again go down, and that's just him playing away from his team. That was the, the position that he needed, since he can't jump onto the high ground with them, but when you get secluded like that, these highly mobile tanks can just leap onto you and make very quick work of it.
That's kind of been part of the story of his McCree. Good accuracy, but forced to be in these isolated positions. In fact, trying to get up here on the high ground and find something, but not accompanied by anybody. Just here alone, gets hacked.
Pulse Bomb's ready to go, and in fact had a really nice pile of juicy targets there available for him, but the EMP comes down perfectly timed, so that is just going to be it. He will go down.
You know, EnVyUs, with the lack of a Genji player and how they play their dive, where they don't really have, especially with Taimu on the McCree, they don't have a way to burst down a single target, focus. You know, this is why it feels like an unusual map pick, Route 66, where you have to control this high ground. They try for it. Effect gets the pulse bomb kill this time onto Recry. That's a start.
Finds one that'll prevent that attack visor coming through for a bit longer. It's going to be a nano boost thrown out, actually in onto Arhan. Doesn't find anything really for it.
Very nice sound to that gun. It's got it. Pretty rare sight. Taimu gets a pick onto IDK as they swing right around Big Earls now.
The accuracy really starting to come through for him now, and the payload just going to keep moving. Just under 2 minutes here on the clock, and Afreeca will have time for another contest, but now without Arhan, so will not have that EMP for a while. See if they can delay long enough for him to get back into this one.
Going to be very unlikely, and Afreeca Freecs just falling apart. They're kind of making a liar out of me. They are going to go for the contest here as Taimu gets the kill onto Recry immediately.
And Deadeye during the attack visor just takes him out. Taimu comes up with that kill, really major one, and in fact finds another pulse bomb in on the mono. The EMP will come through here for Arhan, who has rejoined the fight, but he gets taken out. And again, firing away, not him, rather it was Donghyun that had gone down. Arhan snapping back, keeps himself alive for the moment, but cannot prevent that cap from coming through. So 3 minutes 40 on the clock here for the streets phase. EnVy continue to push forward towards the garage.
Looks like in a snap of fingers, we look to see EnVyUs finally find the target selection, the pairings to the focus fire on the weakened targets, the ones that get caught out of position, the effect pulse bombs, and then just kind of going in 3-man, 4-man, blowing people up. You know, it was the opposite of what I said when we went into that last Big Earls push, what we saw was Effect getting the first pick, and we saw good targeting from Coco and Mickey. So they made a liar out of me as they are finally starting to make it happen.
Mono leaping down here onto the payload, has the force at the primal rage, goes dangerously low. But he's not really contesting, now jumping into the backside, but there's nothing he can do, so just really wasted this cooldown.
Yeah, just kind of a flying space monkey.
And then messed up his leap. So, yeah, we saw all that. That was all on camera, Mono, and hope that you do us proud when you go to the World Cup.
An anomaly here as he does come in to deny Taimu, though.
Stops just shy of the edge of that shield. Flashbang does come through, and Taimu's topped up by the Transcendence coming down, but the self-destruct is there as well. The duck in around the corner, so no kills there for Donghyun, but does zone them back off the payload for the moment. Beck tossing the pulse bomb, not going to find the stick, goes wide down onto the low ground.
Good protection here from Donghyun, but it's all he can do just to try to keep them alive.
Well, the EMP comes down from Arhan, takes out ships off screen immediately, and Taimu follows suit, as does Harry Hook. So seems like they finally have gained control over the payload. And that is going to be a hacked health pack, so no way for Effect to pick that one up. So he is in a bit of a spot of bother. Tries to dash his way out to safety, but seems like, yep, there we go. He will just go down in the end. The biotic grenade does find the kill.
It feels like almost like Donghyun's playing angry. He's chasing these targets down, securing these kills, blocking a lot of the damage. So stopped in their tracks. They're reaching that tough point in the streets phase where you have max run back for respawn. So every kill is more valuable for the Freaks than it is for EnVyUs. Old economy leads slightly in their favor as well, both the DPS ultimates.
Sound barriers thrown down, Deadeye out here from Taimu. He tries to do a 360, won't quite find that one. Does get the flashbang out onto Arhan, but can't follow up with the headshot. And a boost down onto Mono, leaping forward, has the primal rage, takes out Chips. Taimu and Harry yet again are going to be the three that go down first and foremost. And EnVyUs will just get stopped out. Minute 15 just about here on the clock remaining. A little ways to go before point B, but Afreeca Blue, they just have a death grip on this payload.
And now they have a lot of delay tactics as well. The sound barrier can come up here, the self-destruct. They will have another EMP. It's not ready yet, but it's going to be by the time this happens. So EnVyUs really not having too much to contest. The Transcendence will be up. The self-destruct, not necessarily, and already Taimu is out. So 50 seconds left here. Starting to feel pretty dire for EnVyUs.
Certainly is. Pulse bomb coming down, lands onto the platform, but it's not going to find anything yet again here for Effect. Arhan does die as Coco leaps onto him, and Effect is trying to poke out where he can. They can't walk up to this payload safely. Just trying to keep things contested. Starts moving forward yet again here as the rest of EnVyUs does join in. Coco wrapping back around. Dives into the back, drops down the bubble, just trying to get the kill in. Onto Lucid, can't find it because the sound barrier is there as well as the biotic grenade to keep it topped off. Meanwhile, EnVy are popping out that Transcendence.
Big one there. But will it be enough? This is their follow-up damage. Coco's going to get burned down.
Pulse bomb in on the mono does take him out, but the rest of Afreeca Blue still sitting up on top of this payload, and Taimu falls yet again. It'll be about a 3-for-2 exchange so far in favor of Afreeca Blue, and I'll just make that effectively a team kill, and Mickey gets booped away right at the last second.
Can't even use his self-destruct, can't even try to toss it out there. Wanted to go in for the contest. The self-destruct wouldn't have made that possible. So there's a big lead for ults there on the side of Afreeca Freecs Blue, and it feels to me that, you know, our worries going into Route 66 for the comp where they're running the McCree, and they look for the picks with effect only, Coco diving in sometimes if they can find one angle. This really isn't working out, and their over-aggressive nature, Taimu going alone, getting picked as you were talking about, Coco going for these dives sometimes with effect. The long respawn timers, when you get to that phase of the game, it punishes you even harder. And it was just a lot of picks on the Taimu, for example, that were unnecessary. He poked his head out because he wanted ult charge, and Afreeca Freecs Blue were there to catch him whenever he did. So well, now, I mean, this is a pretty reasonable push for Afreeca Freecs Blue to hit here.
I mean, if you take a look at the two games that these guys played on Route 66 in their grand finals, it was a 2-0 for Kongdoo Panthera. So EnVyUs getting a point, obviously already a step in the right direction. Sure. They actually got a cap. It wasn't a full hold, but they're against lesser opposition, you know, in Afreeca Blue compared to Kongdoo Panthera. Afreeca Freecs Blue versus Lunatic-Hai, when that was the beginning of their upswing, you know, they really surprised us by crushing Afreeca Blue in that series. So playing at, you know, one of their peak performances this season, they still went 2-2. And it was just a +1 by Lunatic-Hai to get the win. So Afreeca Blue, against a tougher team, were able to go nearly the distance. So this is not looking good for EnVyUs. And honestly, might just be having match point here for Afreeca Blue after this.
Well, let's see what they want to run. The Junkrat would be fun. Okay, sadly not. Freecry is going to be on the McCree, though, so perhaps trying to make a statement to Taimu here on our American Old Western map of Route 66.
No Junkrat, you know, they wanted the 4-0, they didn't get it. EnVyUs won King's Row very convincingly, so now they just have to settle for the 4-1 closeout. So Afreeca Blue going to be playing this one as close to the book as they can, but Lucid gets picked off right off the bat. That's going to be a poor way to start things, as does IDK, so Chips already doing a hell of a lot of work here with this Sombra, down to 75%. Oh, just cuts his way around Mountain Ridge, stays alive
Chips
with 6 HP. Does get taken down by Arhan in the end, but just baits out multiple targets for effective cleanup.
Actually, surviving is Arhan there, and just building up more percentage for Lucid as we do swing around here to Big Earls. EnVyUs switching Taimu over to the Soldier here, so not going to try to McCree versus McCree against this comp. Having some trouble with IDK, still sticking with the Mercy. So that res is going to be very high impact once we get to this first checkpoint. It's like EMP may try to bait something out here. Actually going to commit to it.
Chips yet goes ahead, drops this one down. They're trying to get it on the Lucid. Not sure if he was clipped by that or not, but either way, has not fallen. So the EMP not going to be gaining a whole lot here for the side of EnVy because they still lose multiple members. Coco going low. Harry's going to get taken out as well, and Afreeca Blue just going to keep things rolling where they can. Effect is trying to be a nuisance on the backside, but he cannot contest his payload. Has to worry about Arhan, and surprise from the backside, it's Mono.
EnVy has Effect trying to go and build more meter, trying to harass more. Now he's got the long respawn timer. The EMP with nothing to prepare for, no ults, nothing whatsoever. This felt ridiculous. I thought maybe they're trying to bait something. There wasn't anything to bait. No ults were available for Afreeca Freecs Blue. Now Recry's got this high ground position, going to go for some zoning. Knocks out Chips. Didn't have the EMP anyways, but would have been a cool deny if he did.
I mean, he has it now, just got it up actually, in fact, and still actually comes up with a kill over Coco. Well, the self-destructive Dongyun takes out Harry Hook, and EnVyUs are just scrambling into the fight one after another. So very scrappy, so sloppy from them, and they just get picked off over and over again, giving this massive time bank here to into the hands of Afreeca Freecs Blue. 4 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock to just go just shy of point B.
It feels like this is being exacerbated by the fact that Effect is overstaying his welcome on some of these pushes to just get a little bit more pulse bomb, and it caused him to extend his death timer essentially here as Arhan is actually looking for the pick on the Chips. Does find him, can't get onto him to get the kill.
playing with fire here, dangerously low. Forced out the recall now, barely gets any HP back from that one, and he will dive forward as Taimu.
Res
Has that, but a massive res comes through for IDK. 3 members pop back up, now getting jumped on by Effect. And he is almost certainly...
he almost got the kill, though!
I was going to say, he almost certainly is not going to win this one, but he got so much closer than I ever thought he would. Jack Visor here from Taimu in the meantime, operating on the high ground, does find the Baby Diva. Can't quite get anything else, though, as the rest of the Afreeca Blue members wrap around into the tunnel systems, but the Helix Rockets will find Arhan with the damage.
Well, interestingly, IDK looks to want to stick with this one. Perhaps we'll see more follow-up from the next res we see on the Mercy than what we saw there. Just EnVyUs in a really good spot to counter the res, because the res came in an awkward position there. Not much value, and obviously the Mercy being picked off there didn't help. So, push does continue here. EnVyUs trying to look for the EMP push. They don't have anything to pair with it yet again, but I think holding on to it to try to delay the checkpoint is going to be the better option than popping it out early like we saw last time for Chips. We'll see what decision he makes.
That eye thrown down, everybody just wrapping again back around the building. Effect almost gets taken out there, but Arhan finds Harry Hook with the pulse bomb. EMP will come down from Chips. They follow up onto Recry. They get that pick at least, but still see so very close with
res available.
So much time, and the res is available, as you say. IDK pops that one out. Arhan, Recry, the DPS members of Afreeca are back just like that, and they are ripping through Envy yet again, just trying to finish out this push. Harry Hook getting stunned up, has that sound barrier, but the shield just gets chewed away instantly. And with a little bit more damage from Dongyun, he does go down, and now rolling into the station. One last contest here from Mickey and perhaps Coco is all that stands between Afreeca Blue and this match point in this series.
Dongyun's got the ult where it needs to be here as well, just dropping it down.
Self-destruct has come through, and that's going to be it.
And this was it was 2 uses of EMP by Chips, not at the checkpoint. Got the EMP the second time they got picks with it, but it wasn't where it needed to be. Had the EMP stopped the res from coming down at the checkpoint specifically, it would have been a really nice ult, would have been a really nice pairing there. Perhaps they could buy a little bit more time to get the self-destruct for Mickey, etc. And when you look at how Afreeca Freecs is using their ults, they're kind of using them more defensive, using them in the exact right moment. We could have seen maybe Dongyun drops out the mech several times earlier, but he holds on to it. He keeps holding on to it until the final moment. When it's time to take that checkpoint, that's when he drops it down. Now, sure, at the end, it didn't matter very much because of how EnVyUs decided to fight, but you can see the decision-making in terms of when to use ultimates, when to commit to the combos. It's been better for Afreeca Freecs. And had the EMPs been a little bit later there, perhaps we could have seen more pairings there or contestation of the point itself, maybe hitting the Mercy to stop the res, because the res was really, at the end of the day, what forced that to finish at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, some major reses there for IDK. You can see Effect looking a bit downtrodden there in the booth. Taimu as well, not all smiles like he was at the beginning of the day. So, a rough spot to be in. That's going to be match point here for Afreeca Freecs Blue. We'll go to one final break. When we come back, could just be a 4-1 victory for Afreeca Freecs to enact their revenge over EnVyUs from Season 1. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a few.
언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게.
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish sparkling water, Trevi.
As a full-time streamer, my computer has to keep up with everything I do. All my streaming applications and the Twitch chat at the same time as the game. The Core i7 allows me to really concentrate on my viewers and my community.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. EnVyUs, the Western Hope, already not going to the grand final, but maybe not even getting third place either here in Apex Season 3, Wolf, because their backs are against the wall. Match point has been attained for Afreeca Freecs Blue. Fairly convincing win on Route 66.
You get the feeling that EnVyUs is just very disjointed today, but in moments, they have had moments of brilliance, moments where the targeting is on point, the dive is good, Effect gets the pulse bomb. It's in those moments they look strong, it's in those moments they show cohesion, but when things go wrong, we start to see disjointed ults coming out, chips dropping down EMPs a little bit early. We're seeing commitments of ults used by Taimu, for example, or he goes off to the side trying to get picks or to build his ultimate. Effect sticking around too long trying to get another pulse bomb because his last one was not a money one. We'd see it a highlight clip, so goes back to build those, gets the desynced spawn. Just small mistakes, and I think it's a momentum problem for EnVyUs.
All right,
Taimu's getting everybody hyped up in the booth right now.
He's trying to get jazzed up. He's trying to pop off, have that, King's Row performance that we saw earlier on today.
Going to Volskaya. This is where they had their miracle comeback start against Meta Athena. And it feels like the situation is very similar here. One loss away from defeat, taking that fourth place spot. And perhaps their end in Apex, the stories were written about how the hype going into the semis, maybe they just had the easier group after all. I think that's one big thing that EnVyUs fans have been critical of them for, but maybe this tonight, if they can make this, win these last 3 in a row, the fans will stop questioning that run through the round of 16 and the round of 8.
I mean, that actually kind of caught me off guard for a second when I saw Volskaya pop up on the screen, because I'm not used to having two capture point maps in the same set. But we finally made it to map 5 in our best of 7s here, Wolf. So Volskaya Industries selected by EnVyUs, like you said. That turnaround, that reverse sweep for Meta Athena. Can they complete it? Can they push it all the way to Game 7, Wolf? It's time to find out as we load in for what could be the final map of this series. Could be giving Afreeca Freecs Blue third place as we go in for Volskaya Industries.
get it.
Some famous moments here on this map for EnVyUs. You think to, Taimu popping off with the Widowmaker, point blank Genji headshot in the 1v1. The start of the reverse sweep versus meta Athena.
Yeah.
So they kind of need to trawl on that energy from the past.
Feels like
try to have some success here.
The Volskaya Industries, what they've been manufacturing so far has always been the hopes of EnVyUs, and we'll wait and see what EnVyUs wants to run on defense, but this is where Chips made his first, professional in Korea Sombra play debut. So we got the back into it. Sombra play on Route 66, leaving somewhat to be desired. Same with Taimu, of course, on Hanamura. But it's going to be Arhan, who's obviously on defense here now, going to be running the Sombra. The 2-2-2. Recry going to be the main DPS here on the high ground. And Coco on Reinhardt. Is this real? I doubt it, but would love to see it just because it's been a while, not because I think it fits the composition. Not switching.
I think they're actually going to run this. So Mickey is going to be on the Winston, and Coco's going back over to Reinhardt. So this is intriguing, to say the least, as they go ahead and they push forward. They get around the first choke. Afreeca Blue playing back towards the point, as per usual.
Obviously, Reinhardt's going to be very vulnerable to Sombra hacking. This will drop his shield, but not when everyone's grouped up together here on the high ground. Dropping out the fire strike here, and so far so good. They're just trying to perhaps collapse on a pick here. Donghyun does retreat.
I think what they still have to be concerned about is going to be that EMP from Arhan. He's building up towards that 165% for him.
There's the hack I was talking about. No shields here for Coco, no health pack either, and this is a big problem. He's taken out immediately by Recry, who's left to his own devices up here. Effect, not a whole lot of space to work with.
Yeah, I mean, the Discord Orb comes down, and he is just going to fall immediately, so. Effect getting taken out as well, so that one's going to get stopped out, but they're still sticking with it.
Yeah, not willing to swap either, and it's going to have to be somehow, some way tracking down Arhan, preventing him from hitting the hacks. The hack's the hard part, the EMP's the easy part in terms of getting rid of that shield. Only at 36% of the way towards that Earth Shatter too. So it's not looking very successful so far for EnVyUs. Speaking of the EMP.
Okay, Pulse Bomb comes down. I think Effect killed himself on it actually. And yeah, EMP does get dropped. Chips goes down. Jump over the top looking for Mickey as he drops dangerously low. Harry Hook as well will be sprayed down. And he barely makes it back around the corner in time, but Taimu cannot say the same for himself. And, well, Mickey will just die in the end anyway. So massive staggers coming through, and, well, this is not looking good.
No, it's not looking good at all, EnVyUs fans. But keep in mind, part of the problem with this, too, is the lack of experience for Mickey on the Winston with this swap as well. Feels like they just want to run heroes they like here, make a statement in this last game, but unfortunately, the statement hasn't been very strong so far.
I'm not getting the message, whatever the statement is.
Taimu's got that tack visor. He's going to maybe try to swing around here and find something.
If this is them trying to ham it out, have a little bit of fun with some of their favorite picks, then perfectly understandable. Coco, yeah, as you say, we'll go ahead and get hacked. EMP is also available. Sound Barrier comes down. Surprised we don't see the EMP dropped, and just go ahead and negate that one. That's going to be the single-man Earth Shatter as he does swing his way to victory, taking out Arhan. Self-destruct will be coming through. Coco's got the shield for everybody to duck behind. But the leap comes down. Taimu's going to drop. Mickey goes down as well as Recry is just operating on this high ground alongside Lucid, just hailing down bullets and balls, just taking out EnVyUs yet again.
Still don't know what to say. The spread was real. Coco's just being simply outplayed. The Reinhardt here is a relic of the old meta. When you watch it, he switched now to the Winston, but when you watch it played like this, you could see why it's no longer played in the meta. If you're wondering, oh, why isn't Reinhardt coming back? Why is Kaiser always tweeting about that? Well, you could see why. Just kind of left alone there. The dive compositions, the more mobile heroes, the hacks coming out, especially from Sombra, giving him hell essentially as he tries to find anything. The one-man Earth Shatter was just not going to cut it.
Yeah. Well, they're just having fun at this point. Taimu trying to poke him from the backside, drops out that tack visor. Able to duck around the corner. He goes dangerously low.
Well, he's alone, sadly, and
there you go.
Kind of been the story of his DPS tonight, trying to find something all alone.
They tried massive EMP drop in there from Arhan. As they try to follow up, Coco's going to go down. Helix Rocket straight into effect. We'll find that kill, and it's just going to be Afreeca Blue hounding them down, looking for this full hold here on point A with 18 seconds remaining. So EnVy just gonna be going down in this one.
Yep, I mean, there's not much else to say about it. This is basically impossible to execute. Chips isn't even hitting his heels here. Has the nano, but no one's near the point. 2 seconds to go. We're going to see one last attempt here, but everyone's already solo. This feels hopeless.
Yeah, Coco just going to go ahead, leap forward, try to kill Lucid, but he's going to die. I think he's dead. Self-destruct thrown down by Donghyun. So
ceremonious.
That's pretty much going to be it. Yeah, overtime does tick down. And Afreeca Blue probably getting a little bit too excited.
Especially Lucid.
I mean, they didn't really do well. It was more so EnVy just not doing anything.
It was more like, yeah, I mean, we saw the old meta attempted Reinhardt here, and it wasn't even really run like the old Reinhardt was run. It was really just saying, okay, here's two things. We're going to have Mickey play Winston, who's not experienced out. Remove the Devo completely, which means no defense matrix, and Coco's going to play a hero that really struggles against the Sombra on this map when he's out in the middle of the capture point. And it's funny because when we saw Sombra used at the beginning, it was really cool when sometimes you see that sick translocator into a hack on the Reinhardt, and a play was made from it, and it was on the front page of Reddit, and everyone was talking about her. Maybe they stopped Zarya from using a Graviton Surge, but in this case it's just totally standard. Everyone knows how to play Sombra now. Everyone knows how to deal with a Reinhardt like this, and I mean, it was destined to fail from the start, you would say. It would have been definitely a miracle. It would have been game-breaking, and everyone would have been rethinking the meta if this composition that we saw from EnVyUs actually worked out. But the more likely outcome is the one that occurred, and now just one tick required for Afreeca Freecs Blue. Feels bad, man.
I mean, they're trolling a bit less with the defensive comp, at least.
That's true. It's going to be the meta Athena crushing comp that we saw, with Chips showing that Sombra yet again. And, you know, it was back then, months ago now, in the round of 16, where we thought, will Chips play the Sombra at all? Hadn't really shown it that much in professional play beforehand. And it was the story of him with the crazy holds against Meta Athena, buying so much time. Repeating that performance now today, will he do it? Seems unlikely, but let's find out, Achilles.
Well, Chips at high, didn't get any percentage there, in effect has already almost gone down. Chips yet again just poking his way in, just building all of his percentage up from this. Oh, packs coming through, and Afreeca Blue just need that first tick to come through in order to close out this series. Make it a very swift one. A couple kills do come down here for EnVyUs. Donghyun come out of the mech. They will find mono as well, but not without losses of their own as Mickey does fall. Has to kite back a bit, but is already very swiftly building up for this Dragon Blade. 80% accrued for him. He's in a good spot. We'll cut down Coco, and he's that much closer. And
could be used right away, actually.
I expect him to just draw that one out and just cut his way through onto that 33.3%.
Here we go.
Come down, finds one. Harry Hook dies. Taimu tailing it out of there, and Aran, you can see he wants to try to find him, wants to try to get that kill. Bit of the extra vengeance, perhaps.
Chips, I think, got a 4-man EMP, but no one was even nearby, so again, it just didn't matter.
Well, Taimu finds two. Recry popping his own Jack Visor will take down Mickey. And a final contest comes through from Coco, gets pooped off right at the last second, but Chips is there to follow up. Puts himself into the point. Harry rejoining. Sound barrier down here from Afreeca Freecs Blue as they seek the closest one out. Chips just sprinting around in stealth. He'll go ahead and leap out just a little bit more.
There you go.
And there you have it. Well, EnVy, they screwed around a little bit less on the defense, but overall, I'll just be blunt about it, Wolf. I don't think they gave a shit.
I mean, we saw some fan service attempted there with the Coco Reinhardt, and I have to second your opinion, Achilles, because it looked like Afreeca Freecs really wanted that one, and EnVyUs had already, at least metaphorically, taken their hands off the keyboard. So it was just an outclassing on the defense. They gave a little bit more of a shit, if to use your term exactly, but we will see.
We won't use that term anymore. We're pushing our limits here. But,
all right, so I mean, I feel like when you look at what was run there on the attack, it was more of a snapshot of the meta, and in terms of the defense, it just felt like today Chips did not have the best Sombra. It was not the Sombra we saw at the beginning of the season, back in the round of 16. They were disjointed. Taimu many times off alone. I can't be really too much more critical of EnVyUs. I don't want to, beat a dead horse here, but they put a lot more effort. They put a lot more preparation into their Panthera match. And
I mean, this is a low impact match. It just means Envy finishing in 4th place, Afreeca Freecs Blue in 3rd, get a little bit more fight money here at the end. But there weren't really high stakes going into this one.
Yeah,
so Afreeca, they had higher stakes than Envy. They wanted revenge for season 1. They wanted to have that higher finish. Give their fans here in Korea a little bit of something to to rest on before season 4 comes through. Whereas Envy, this is just kind of like a last hurrah. Let's have fun with it. Screw it. We'll do what we want as we get ready to go back home.
And this is how our season 1 champion exits this tournament. And that is it. It's already been announced there'll be no Western teams in season 4. So that's it for the West here in Apex. Otherwise, facing each other in the future, we'll have, of course, the Western teams in international events to challenge Korea. But for this tournament and for Apex, at least until further notice, that was their run. They had a good run this season. They made it deep. They wanted to repeat their performance they had in season 1, and in this series, they wanted to repeat that grand finals performance. But look, the West definitely not as dominant as they were back then.
Yeah. And I hope that he had to use the restroom or something, Taimu leaving the booth early, but otherwise, a bit PM to walk out before the handshakes come through.
I'm sure it was something like that, but Kai comes in to at least give the, I guess, vicarious handshake there through Taimu as we have the end of this semi. So Afreeca Freecs now with their 2nd best performance in Apex. They had the 2nd, now 3rd. And this series, we knew about it going into the beginning. We said it was somewhat of an exhibition match, all about pride. And Afreeca Freecs Blue took it more seriously, dominated, and really we saw glimpses there of EnVyUs' synergy that we saw all season long, but it was not consistent by any means.
Yeah, I mean, the King's Row was the shining gem here for EnVyUs during this series. Competitive on Lijiang Tower, but outside of that, just heavy struggles. Aside from a few moments here and there, defense on Hanamura, that sort of thing. But as far as map-wide, it was really just King's Row, where they looked like their former selves, where it looked like this could have been the Season 1 final. But a 4-1 victory for Afreeca Freecs Blue means that they do take 3rd place. Envy will finish in 4th. So still a very strong showing from them here throughout the duration of Apex Season 3, making it this far. So good stuff from them, but now can just kind of rest for a little bit, go back over to the West, get mentally prepared, for the Overwatch League and whatever upcoming tournaments they may have ahead of them.
So the grand final, of course, will take place between Lunatic-Hai and Kongdoo Panthera. The venue has been announced. It will be on the 29th at 7 p.m. at Lotte World Tower, one of the tallest buildings, of course, in Asia.
4th or 5th tallest building in the world, I believe. So absolutely massive.
It's going to be a beautiful stage. It's going to be a great event. The tickets will go on sale on Wednesday, the 12th at 6 p.m. So you probably better be at your computer pressing F5 if you want to be there live, because you're going to have to fight all the Lunatic-Hai fangirls, and on top of that, the Panthera fangirls. So get your F5 keys ready for that one if you want to get a ticket here for the grand final. It should be a great series. Both dominant performances, the 4-0s and the semis, and I don't think we're going to see a 4-0 in the grand final.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not between these two teams. I want to see this one go to the distance. All 7 games would be absolutely excellent. Especially with that venue in the background. But we'll see what happens when it does come down to it. But yeah, if you are in Korea and you want to get those tickets, like you said, definitely be a bit trigger happy when it comes down to purchasing them, because they are going to go so very quickly.
That is 6 p.m. Korean Standard Time. So about 3 hours and 13 minutes before now, if you want to kind of put that in your mental clock.
Well, it'd be 2 a.m. on the West, and I believe 5 a.m. Yes, 5 a.m. on the East Coast, I think. If you're in Europe, I'm sorry, I do not know those time zones, so I cannot help you in that regard.
Yeah, just think 3 hours before now, 3 hours and 13 minutes. So, should be a great final. It's been a great season thus far. We do have the break between. Of course, it's going to be on the 29th, so not this Saturday either. Just putting all these things out for you as we have this, for some reason, very long graphic up on the screen.
We're about 3 weeks out. The Korean casters are just, going on about Lunatic Tower and how great it is, I suppose. But yeah, about 3 weeks, until we do have that final. So a lot of time for Lunatic-Hai and Kongdoo Panthera to prepare for each other. So while it does suck that we have to go that long without, regular Apex action to close out this season, to kind of finalize everything, at least we know that we're going to have one hell of a high-quality final because both of those teams are going to be giving it their all. They have both looked excellent in their recent games, Kongdoo Panthera, especially Birdring and Rascal. I mean, it's going to be absolutely crazy to see how Guido and Eska can try to handle these guys on the opposite side, of the DPS there for Lunatic-Hai. So it should be a really back-and-forth final. I'm really hoping for 7 games.
I hope so, too, or at least as close as we can get. The Season 2 final was pretty epic, so hoping for something like that. And obviously, it's the third match these two will have against each other. It's kind of the end of their best of 3 in this gauntlet that they've gone through to get all the way to the grand finals. So there's a lot of familiarity between these two. Guido leveling up quite a bit. So excited to see how that one's going to turn out.
I mean, even Eska has been, showing us some better performances. He still has those, those moments
that
everybody's going to meme about, but he has been improving as far as his consistency is concerned. So if he can bring out that performance in the final, then I think that he very well could be competitive with Rascal and Birdring. But it still is a very tough ask for him.
He looked very good in the match, of course, against Afreeca Freecs Blue. So it's exciting to see, Lunatic-Hai, they dominated for so long, but they were able to take a finals to last season. They struggled to get to this finals. And Kongdoo, both teams have been around since the beginning of Korean Overwatch, and Kongdoo gets their very first Apex finals as well. Not actually having the overseas experience that Lunatic-Hai had. So I know we're going to talk more about these stories and flesh them out further as we get closer to that grand finals, but just kind of pumping up how epic it's going to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in the meantime, like you said, no Apex action between now and that final. But at least we do have the qualifiers for the World Cup coming up that we have to look forward to. So be watching those ones to see which teams are going to be qualifying to go into BlizzCon. So still some nice Overwatch action throughout the world to watch. But that will close it out from us. We'll see you guys back for the grand final on the 29th. So have a good one, and we'll see you then.
네.